You guys are winners.
Deshaun Hand, wow. Darian Anderson gets the dish, takes a dribble, and tag Jonathan Allen. You'll be seeing Justin Anderson with the alley-oop, and Stephon Diggs Jenkins with the last-second shot. Oh my God! With the shooting, and remember the name, Victor Oladipo.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the nation's capital. We have a real treat for you in high school football. Two of the top teams in the Washington, D.C. area, number 7, Gonzaga, playing host to number 11, the good Counsel Falcons, a big-time matchup in the city and also in the WCAC. Welcome to Buchanan Field, everybody. So glad you could be part of our broadcast here on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page, brought to you by DMVstream.com. My name is Tony Lamarzi. I'm alongside Emory Hunt and Nick Eilerson. There are a lot of good matchups, a lot of good breakdowns in this game, but more than anything, Emory, it's emotional here in the stadium.
And it's a great day for football, man. It's a little windy outside. It's not hot. It's not cold. If you're a running back, if you're anybody out here, you won't get tired today. It should be a great day for football.
Yeah, I feel we're going to see a lot on the ground today. Definitely the wind gusts are picking up. But like you said, great day for football. The sun's out. Two of the best teams in WCAC. Should be a great one, Tony.
So when we start talking about this matchup, we start by talking about the quarterback. So let's check in back at the DMV Stream Studios with the 2010 All-Met Player of the Year, Michael Niebrick, who breaks down the GC quarterback.
And so this clip here, Travis does a really nice job at feeling the rush and finding the soft spots in the pocket, which allows him, like I said, to keep his eyes down the field and deliver the football. And that's what we see here. He feels the pressure around him, he feels the pressure in his face, and he uses that back shoulder dip and rip here to get away from the pressure, and then uses his feet to just find the soft spot in the pocket. And because he keeps his eyes downfield, that's what leads to that completion.
So that's the Falcons quarterback. For his counterpart at Gonzaga, let's check in about what Michael Niebrick has to say about Sam Brown.
This is just a simple cover 3 coverage that has a skinny post on the backside, which is ideal for throwing that skinny post. And he recognizes all of this pre-snap. Now he knows that he has to move that field safety with his eyes to open up a window here. So now let's roll back, and I want everybody just to focus on the first 2 steps of his drop. Watch his head looking towards the field side, and then watch that safety's hips fly open as he sees what's happening. Then he does an excellent job once he knows he's got him, sticks his foot in the ground, and like I said, he has a very live arm. He sticks his foot in the ground on that 3rd step, this rhythm step right here. Let's roll it here. 1, 2, 3, rhythm, sticks that foot in the ground and drives the football. That's a 25-yard strike on a line right to the guy in the face mask. A beautiful throw that he does really well, throwing the football down the field in between the hashes, slightly off the hashes. So very impressive when it comes to reading the coverages and then throwing the football accurately with some power down the field.
Some excellent insight there from Michael Niebrick about the quarterbacks, but in terms of what the team needs to do on a bigger scale, let's take a look at the keys to the game, and Emory will start with the visiting team, the Falcons, today.
You look at good Counsel's keys to victory in this matchup. First, they have to win the battle in the trenches. On the defensive side of football, Gonzaga does a great job of running downhill, and if you're not able to win between guard, center, guard, you're going to struggle a lot in this ball game. And also a big matchup I'm interested in watching is between their outstanding cornerback, Noah Nicholson, 5'11", 170 pounds, a Richmond commit, going up against Max Fisher, the number 1 option for Gonzaga in the passing game. And they have to maximize their offensive possessions. Again, Gonzaga is a really good defensive football team. When you have the football, they have to pay off with points, whether that's 3 or 7.
That's right. And going to Gonzaga's keys to the game here. Well, we'll stick with good counsels, I guess, here.
Let's talk about some of the individuals now. That's some of the things that were written on the whiteboard. What about some guys to look for these Falcons?
Yeah, Joshua Pascal is an outstanding player, 6'4", 255, a 4-star athlete. You see him doing a great job on both ends of defense. That's stopping the run and also getting after the quarterback. And when you look at what he is missing on the opposite side, it's Ayinde Ely, the 6'5", 205-pound, 3-star Maryland commit. He hasn't really played a lot this year, but when you look at when they're expecting him to get on the field, which is probably around playoff time, they're expecting big things from him. And you look at the backfield, always got to go to the backfield. I'm a little bit biased here, but they have a tremendous tailback in Muhammad Ibrahim, 5'9", 180. Got to remember, guys, size is not a skill. If you're putting up numbers like this, 6.9 yards a carry and 15 touchdowns, when teams know you're getting the football, you're getting the job done.
He's ready to go up over 1,000 yards, almost assuredly. We're going to see that today. And as for the Gonzaga Eagles, Nick, when you look at what they have to do as a group, what do you look for?
Well, they're going to keep it on the ground for the most part with a guy like Tyree Randolph getting carries. But they've got a very reliable quarterback in Sam Brown when they need him. He's very poised. Coach Travers likes to say the best part of his game is his demeanor. He doesn't get too rattled, so when they need him to make a big pass, he can make it. He's a second-year starter, a lot going for him. You got to make sure they turn those big plays into points. Against DeMatha, they had a couple of 40-plus yard plays that they squandered with punts or with turnovers, so they can't do that today. They need to help themselves. That means they can't have too many penalties like they did against DeMatha. When you play against a good football team like DeMatha or good Counsel, you have to really engage and capitalize off your opportunities. You can't shoot yourself in the foot like they did last week.
And how about some of the individuals for the Eagles?
And for the Eagles, well, there's Tyree Randolph coming here. He can, obviously everyone knows about his running ability, but he can catch it too. I mean, he likes to turn big, short dumps into big gains. He can also run slants. He can get downfield. So he's a total handful for defenses despite just being 5'7". Very elusive running back. Had 1,800-plus yards last year, and he's on his way this year too.
Max Fisher is the leading receiver and Sam Brown's favorite target.
That's right. Max Fisher, great hands. He's got big hands. He can really get up and grab it. Great wingspan. He's an NC State commit, a great aerial threat, can really stretch the defense. When you've got a guy like Randolph in the backfield, you can't forget about Fisher going downfield.
And then we already talked a little bit about the quarterback, that's Brown.
That's right. Sam Brown, like I said before, he's very reliable. He's a poised quarterback. He doesn't take too many risks. He's a guy that won't turn the ball over much. He's also got great mechanics. He can really sling it downfield every once in a while. So look for him to make a couple of big throws downfield today.
All right, for more on how these teams are going to prepare, we're going to hear from the coaches. So let's go down to our sideline reporter, Bob Trussett.
Hey everybody, here with Bob Malloy, the head coach of the Good Counsel football squad here at Gonzaga College High School. A lot of WCAC playoff implications on this game, Bob. What's your mindset going in today?
Well, we have to win. We think we have to win one of the next three, and so we're going to do our best to win this one. To get in there, and then we'll worry about after this game, worry about the next game.
Wind speeds up to 15, 20 miles per hour at points today. What are you going to tell the team? How are you going to handle that?
Well, that's rain, mud, snow is okay. I hate wind. I mean, you just never know when it's going to pick up, but you just got to play and like throwing into the wind is going to be hard to do. So you have to go short passes into the wind. And, when you have the wind, I guess you got to throw, but it's swirling. It's coming from all different directions, so it's kind of hard to predict.
Hey, hold on to your hat. Best of luck today.
The Gonzaga head coach is Randy Trivers, and a few moments ago, he caught up with Bob Trussett.
Hey guys, here with head coach of Gonzaga football, Randy Trivers, before a big matchup today versus Good Counsel. What did you tell the team?
Well, it's an important game today for us because it's a league game, WCC game, and certainly when you get to this point in time of the season, all these games count as far as being playoff eligible, all right, and making sure you're playing well going into the playoffs as we hope to get an opportunity to do so. And this is our final home game of the year, so our seniors, our 2017 class, will play their last game here on Buchanan Field, so it's important for those reasons.
Blustery conditions out here, how does that change your mentality and strategy, if at all?
Well, the wind certainly, when the ball's in the air, whether it's being kicked, punted, thrown, it has an effect certainly on the game. So you've got to be smart in terms of when you take your shots to throw it, to kick it, and using the wind depending on what direction it's flowing to your advantage, hopefully.
Coach, thank you for your time. Best luck today.
So a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement leading up to this game, and we're just about finally ready to get started. But before we do, let's go down to Bob Trussett for one more final breakdown.
Testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. Hey, Tony, I had a chance to sit down and chat with Mark Giannotto and our Fairfax Studios, dmbstream.com early in the week to preview the big game between Good Counsel and Gonzaga. Take a look here.
So you're here to break down and preview for us a big game coming up on Saturday. It's Gonzaga versus Good Counsel. What do you expect going into this one?
Well, it's always a great game when these two teams meet, two of the best teams in the area, two of the best teams in the country, really, when you think about talent and tradition. And no different this year in terms of how big this is for the WCAC standings. Both these teams are 2-1 in league play coming into this one, and this is important for playoff position. Looks like DeMatha and St. John's are going to be the top 2 seeds, and this game will probably decide who's the 3 seed, who's the 4 seed when we go into the WCAC playoffs. But you're also just looking at two teams. You're seeing here, Gonzaga loves to ground and pound the ball, and so does Good Counsel. 2 really good running backs, 2 really good offensive lines. I expect a really, really good game. Gonzaga won the regular season meeting last year, and then Good Counsel picked off Gonzaga in the WCAC semifinals in the playoffs last year. So kind of like a grudge match we got on Saturday. I'm really interested to see who wins out. It's going to be one of those slobber knocker, whose offensive line is tougher, whose running back can take the most hits type of game. I don't think you're going to see a ton of passing. If there is, it'll be change of pace, play action type stuff. But both these teams, when they're at their best, are really just running the ball down your throat. So it should be a really, really, really good game.
So we are underway here at Buchanan Field, 19th Street, the home of the Gonzaga Eagles. The kickoff was taken by John Marshall back near his own end line and brought it up to the 26-yard line, where we'll get our first look at the Gonzaga offense. Number 7 is the QB, Sam Brown.
See right there, just the size of the offensive line and what they can do with this defensive front, which is why it's important for Good Counsel to try to win up front defensively.
Jake Bergman in motion. They hand it off to Randolph. Picks up about 3. In that last game against DeMatha, Gonzaga started off by passing, but today, Nick, they're going right on the ground.
That's right, just like we thought. They're gonna really grind away at the trenches here. They've got a very experienced offensive line, but Good Counsel can counter with some great linebackers back there.
Randolph coming outside. He's got a hold into the secondary across midfield and gets knocked out of bounds.
See, here's the thing when you have a back that size, you can't hit what you can't catch. And when you have a shorter back, you're going to see a guy that's able to hide behind his offensive lineman, is able to get outside. I love that play call because, again, you get to bring 2 offensive linemen front side with the tailback following behind and was able to rip off a big game.
They're going to give it to him again. 3 carries to start the game. What did you think of Randolph's explosion once he got outside on that last long run?
That's something that I wish I had as a running back, that second-level burst. And he's a guy that is able to control his speed. I was just 1 speed, but this is a guy that can go from second to third, back down to first. Excellent running back.
Give it to him again, staying between the tackles. Picked up a couple more because he's speedy. He can get outside, but he's not afraid to run it between the tackles either.
Again, when you're that size, it's tough for linebackers to see you because they're normally trying to find where the back is. But if you're that low to the ground, great center of gravity, it's tough for those backers to key on you consistently.
Randolph comes out on this 3rd and short. They give it instead to Lobby. And he's got the first down.
And look at Gonzaga coming out here with the tempo. I mean, this pace is really going to wear this defense down if they don't make some changes here. They got to adjust.
Number 1, Max Fisher, is off to the top of the screen. That's the receiver we highlighted for you. Going in motion is the tight end, Miles Brown. Sam Brown to Fisher, complete.
Nice safe play right there just for the quarterback to get into a rhythm. You see the big-time receiver in Fisher and what he can do from a size perspective. He's able to shield that defender away from the football. Great opening pass for Gonzaga.
You can see Tyree Randolph back out there. 2nd and 5 for the Eagles. Fisher coming to the near side in motion. Nothing doing there that time for Randolph. That's what the defensive line needs to do to really help the Falcons slow down Gonzaga.
Yeah, when you're looking at a team that's trying to run with tempo, trying to push the pace, it's just about getting lined up. If you can get lined up properly, then it becomes a reaction game, and you're able to see them get that key stop right there on second down.
Big 3rd and 3 now here for the Eagles. 15 on the play clock still as they finalize the plan from the sidelines. Play action. Looking toward the end zone. He's got a man. There's some contact. No flag.
Looked like it might have been incidental there, getting tripped up.
That was a savvy move right there by the cornerback. Had a nice tug of that jersey in the back to where they you saw it, but you didn't want to call it. But great defensive play right there by good Counsel. Again, now they put them in a 4th and 3 type situation. Just a subtle tug. You know, it's a savvy vet move. I like that by the cornerback. Do what you have to do to get the stop.
Too far for the field goal, so they're going for it on 4th and 3. Up the middle, Randolph. I don't think he got it.
And this is what we were talking about. Gonzaga needs to capitalize on these opportunities, and they push the ball into the other end of the field. They have to really do a good job of taking advantage of those situations. Against a good team like Good Counsel, they'll hurt you coming back the other way.
And that's winning in the trenches right there defensively. We highlighted that in the beginning, and that was just a good open drop. You bent a little bit, but you didn't break right there inside the red zone. Good stop by Good Counsel.
So a big statement defensively there. And now we'll get our first look at the Falcons offense. Travis Nannon under center. Joshua Pascal.
Pascal, pretty versatile player. Not only, you know, obviously he's known as a defensive end and a linebacker, but he can get outside and play offense too. He's got a couple touchdown catches this year.
No one wants to tackle a 6'4", 255-pound guy coming at them.
That's Muhammad Ibrahim with his first carry, initiating the contact in the secondary there.
I like that. You see me shaking my head. Yes, I love that because, again, you saw the first play, nice physical catch right there. You saw the second play, nice physical run. This is how you set the tone if you're Good Counsel. You want to come in and show that you're here to play a physical game.
First down on that rush from Ibrahim. Give it to him again. He finds some room off to the right side. Dragged down across midfield. Another first down for the Falcons.
Probably got away with a little bit of a face mask right there on Ibrahim. But what I like about this offense is that they're coming out I formation. There's nothing fancy. You see right here, just line up, lead ISO, good block by the fullback, springing Ibrahim for a nice game.
Give it to him again, trying to bounce out to his left. Flag comes in, yep. Secondary flag came in late.
I mean, he's listed at 5'8", 190, but he's a guy that I think he can grow to about 210, 215 because he has a lot of size with him. He runs behind his pads. I like what I'm seeing right now from Ibrahim.
Ibrahim's a very tough back. I saw him a few weeks ago against St. John's.
Yep.
He trucked 2 defenders on his way to a 50-yard touchdown, and I was just shaking my head. Packs a lot of power in that small frame.
Hey, see right here, just getting outside, got the holding call right there on the perimeter, but I like the way they're running. I like the style of play that they're showing right now. Again, it's about establishing the mindset, establishing a physical presence, and you have to like what you're seeing right now from that offensive line of Good Counsel.
First down and 21 after that holding penalty. Clock is rolling again at 7:40. Tremaine Stott gets the carry that time. Picks up a couple. Still second and long.
It's a good run right there. Again, just getting a little bit of, taking small bites of the apple is what I like to say. You can't get it all back in one play. And you're showing your depth here to Gonzaga. Hey, if we take Ibrahim out, we can still run the football. That was a good, nice, short, powerful run by Good Counsel.
The receiver was going in motion, got the handoff. That's Micah McNeil, but he is dropped.
And what the Falcons tried to do on that play was try to establish that perimeter game, and good job by Gonzaga setting the edge and forcing that receiver to try to belly out a little bit more, and they ended up making a play. Good team defense right there by the Eagles.
Seemed like also trying to institute the element of surprise. It didn't really fool many of the Gonzaga players on that time.
Yeah, you want guys to stay out there and be assignment sound, because that jet sweep, that fly sweep nowadays can get you in trouble because guys want to just fly up the field and they lose contain on the outside. And they was able to get a good stop right there on second down, I'm sorry.
That's right. We got an injury on the field. Let's hope he's okay. Let's see what happened here.
They just kind of got rolled up on.
Looks like it's Jonathan Donnelly, the wide receiver. He was sort of a lead blocker out there, and his player fell on him.
Good to see him get up and walk off. And that's what happens when you have those guys out there in the perimeter blocks. You don't know where the back is going. You kind of hope he cuts it back inside of you.
Right.
But you just kind of just want to hold your block for a long time, get movement, and get that guy out of the way.
So we'll keep an eye on number 10 for good counsel, see if he makes it back onto the field. Meanwhile, 3rd and 16 coming up. Play action, and he is stopped. Maybe made it back to the line of scrimmage, but that's not going to do it. We know that good counsel likes to run, even in passing situations, trying to maybe surprise them, but
right, just playing it a little bit safe there. I think both these teams are feeling each other out in the early stage. But, yeah, let's see what Gonzaga can come back with here.
They kind of gave that away with their formation. They lined up in a tight.
Ooh, the kick is blocked. Getting in there was Nick DeChristopher. Picks it up himself and gets it down inside the red zone. Excellent special teams play for the home team, and the crowd here on I Street loves it.
Oh, you're trying to win in all three facets: offense, defense, special teams. This is a huge play again, and you want to say the football guys kind of punish you because you didn't go for a pass on that third down. You kind of relinquish to the fourth down play and try to punt the football, and this is what happened. So can they rally up and get the stop here if you're good counsel? And if you're Gonzaga, can you punch it in right after the turnovers when you want to go to the end zone and try to get quick points and really demoralize the team?
So Gonzaga will start on the good counsel 18-yard line. Randolph and Brown out there. It was Ingram coming around.
They did a good job of stringing that play out. There was no real way to cut it back inside, and everyone stayed on the outside shoulder of the offensive player and was able to force that receiver to keep going horizontal before he was able to turn it up.
Picked up 3 yards, had to work very hard to pick
right,
up those 3.
exactly.
Ran all the way across the field. They fake it to Randolph. Going down the middle, it is incomplete. The intended target was the tight end, Jake Bergman. Had it for a moment, but couldn't squeeze it.
And that's the second straight great play by Anthony Budd on defense there. I think he chased down the ball carrier on the previous play and got the hit in there to prevent the completion.
So it's a big 3rd down here. Probably close enough to go for 3 if they don't get it. Last time they were in 2-down territory. Play clock is down to 12.
Watch that slant on the far side for how out wide he's aligned.
That's Jake Bergman up to the top of your screen. They're coming to the near side. Fisher, and he overthrew him. And a flag comes in very late. He may have been chucked after that 5-yard mark. Seemed like the pass was way beyond the receiver.
Like a miscommunication. He ran the skinny post. The quarterback threw the fade. Ended up drawing the flag.
Defensive holding.
Yeah, he might have impeded him on that route. Or maybe he just got bailed out. I'm not sure.
And I like this right here, how the ref is explaining to the player what he did wrong in that situation so that way he can't repeat the same mistake. And that's just a good job of officiating right there by the referees.
Automatic 1st down on the penalty. That's 2 costly penalties for the Falcons early. That holding put them in that 1st and super long. They never really got a shot at getting the 1st. And now, and it looked like they were going to be able to hold them to 3. A big defensive penalty. And Gonzaga's on the door.
And this is what we were talking about. Gonzaga needs to capitalize in these situations. They failed to produce against Georgetown Prep when they got to the 1-yard line twice. Happened against them at the last week. Let's see what happens here.
Miles Brown, the big tight end, comes across to the near side. Randolph hit the backfield, trying to stay on his feet. Excellent work. You talked about a big play coming from the defense. That's a good way to start when you're first and goal.
Yeah, Joshua Pascal, 6'4", 255, showing you how to play with length in that situation. Was able to get to the backfield, disrupt the play. And great team defense right here you see on the replay. Just breaking through that line, stopping the running back in the backfield, and his teammates came to help and put him on the ground.
So explosive off the edge. I mean, he makes most of his plays in the backfield.
Gets to Randolph again. Not a lot of running room there. This is a goal situation, so 2nd and 13. You thought it might be a good passing opportunity, but they seem to be waiting for third before they air it out, Emory.
With every defensive stop they get, every down, you're seeing the team building confidence. You know, and that's important because we know what Gonzaga can do offensively, and if they can get their passing game going, they'll give good Counsel something else to worry about. But right now, their running game is being bottled up.
Max Fisher is off to the top of your screen. In the slot is Dean Ingram, number 6, and down on the near side of your screen is Jake Bergman, the tight end. Play clock is down to 3. Brown across the middle, touchdown, it's Dean Ingram. Some of the Falcon players thought he might have bobbled it on his way down.
I thought he might have as well, but it seems like he hung on.
Yeah, they rang it up on the scoreboard. They look like they're talking, but I think they're going to give him the touchdown.
The official off to the left did signal touchdown, but he wasn't the one who could see it. It was the near side official who would have been able to see it more likely if it had been bobbled. We'll take another look when we get a chance, but 6 points on the board for the Eagles.
Ref signal it was a touchdown. It's a touchdown. No red flags coming out here.
Marco Kemp is the place kicker for the Eagles. And it's 7-0 for Gonzaga.
It's a good job right there on the slant, working your way open if you're the receiver. You missed the first passing window right there. Check 1, check 2, good timing, good patience, touchdown. That's an excellent job right there by the quarterback, Sam Brown, doing a solid job of reading the keys, reading the passing windows, and throwing it into the right one for 6.
It was hard to see. It looked like that the receiver, Ingram, did pick the ball up after he was hit. Now, he was across the plane and his knee was down. I don't know exactly when the ball came out, but usually you've got to sort of complete the completion, right?
But you're right, Tony. It looked like the back judge actually made that call, or rather the judge that was behind the play. Right. I don't think he would have been able to see him trap the ball against the ground like that, so might have gotten lucky on that play.
Take a look at some of the numbers here, brought to you by DMVstream.com. They have that common opponent in McNamara and good Counsel. 2 of the easier conference matchups in the last 2 weeks. Outscored their opponents about 90-6.
20-plus points a game by both teams is impressive. That's good for high school football. That's a high level of execution.
And easy matchups. It's all relative here in the WCAC, the best conference in the DMV.
Kemp with the short kick. It bounces, a live ball. Gonzaga's got it. It went past the 10 yards. Good Counsel didn't react to it. Sort of a mental lapse there. Gonzaga's got it again.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue was there. Maybe he thought it was a similar situation like a punt where you let the ball bounce. But that's a kickoff. That's a live ball. You got to get on top of that. And this is the second big error. You mentioned the 2 penalties. And now we have 2 special teams mistakes. So you have to say Gonzaga is winning in all 3 facets right now. You're going to see here on the replay, this is a nice kick. Sky kick bounced right in front of the receiver. You got to pick that up, man. That's a live ball, but good job for those guys hustling down there and getting on top of it. Now you put yourself in a backed up situation that you're going to try to ask your defense to get out of.
That's the longest onside kick I've ever seen.
It was effective. Now it's windy here. Maybe that had a little bit of effect, and maybe the ball sort of sat back a little bit. Play action. Sam Brown looking downfield, rolling out, and it is incomplete. Emory, before we started, you talked about senior day and the emotion. It seems like, from a mental standpoint, Gonzaga really has the edge in the first quarter so far.
Well, they're amped up. You could tell those guys were ready to play from how they walked out. It was all business-like here. They came marching out of the locker room onto the field. They were ready to go from Jump Street.
2 big special teams plays. Some costly penalties for the Falcons. Now bouncing out to his left is Randolph. Good speed. Gets the edge. Finally knocked out around the 15-yard line.
And there's Johnny Jordan on the edge there, sealing it, the Maryland commit. He's their best offensive lineman. He's really taken a better leadership role this year. He says his experience really weighed on him in this offseason. He decided he really needed to step up his leadership. He's done a great job on this line.
3rd and short. Randolph again, and he picks up the first.
That's more, if I was a college scout or recruit, that's more impressive to me than any of the big runs because it's about picking and sliding your way. This is the previous play where he got outside. That's always a flash, but he did a good job on that last play. And even on this particular play, just picking and sliding his way for positive yards. You want to see how a guy can do in a situation where the big play isn't there. Just take what's given, or to use a basketball reference, just hit your free throws.
Yep.
Is all we worry about is if you're looking at it from a scouting perspective.
A 4-yard carry just then from Randolph. So 2nd and 6. There is some room for a first down here. Play clock is down to 7. Picks up a couple more. They're really working. This is a small guy but powerful. Keeps the legs moving, and even when he takes that first hit, can drive the pile a little bit.
And that's what's very underrated about a guy with this stature. Again, you may think he's small, but he's just short. He's short, not small.
Right.
Very powerful guy. And again, when you have that level of explosiveness, you have a sense of power with you as well.
Another big play for the good Counsel defense here. It's 3rd and 2. Play clock is ticking down to 10 now. High snap. Brown has it. Randolph. Touchdown.
That's a heck of a job right there. He froze that linebacker in the hole with a subtle dead leg shake and was able to keep him still while he was able to make a move and get into the end zone. That's just a great job by Randolph, just getting to the end zone right there.
And you mentioned it earlier, Randolph can use that small stature to his advantage at times, hiding behind his lineman and really sneaking into the end zone in this case.
Now you see right there, just freezing the linebacker, cutting in off that power play, and was able to find his way into the end zone.
The kick is good, 14-0 for Gonzaga. The 2 plays coming very quickly after the onside kick recovery, and Randolph doing all of the heavy lifting during that drive.
Yeah, big time job by Randolph, but also by that offensive line. You got to give these guys credit for what they're doing up front because, again, it's about just wearing down your opponent. It's a boxing match type reference where you're going to give a bunch of body blows and then ultimately you go for the knockout blow. But if you're good Counsel, you have to think like, okay, we made 2 big special team errors. The block punt that led to points and also the non-recovery of this kickoff here that led to points. So you have to think if we can just shore up the special teams aspect, we're still in this ballgame because you're only down 2 plays. You're not down 14 points. You're down 2 plays. And if they could think like that, they'll be right back in it.
It's always harder when there's no turnaround for the defense. They were out there for basically 2 possessions in a row because of the onside kick recovery.
Yeah, you have to think this good Counsel offense is really rearing to go here.
Sure.
I mean, they've watched this unfold, getting down 14-0. They only had 1 drive, so let's see if they can turn it around here.
And they had some success running the football, so their offense has shown the capability of being able to move the football a little bit. We're going to learn a lot about their passing game on this upcoming drive.
I mentioned the wind. It knocked the football off the tee. The wind actually, believe it or not, has died down from when we first got out here. It was really blowing around.
This is the least amount of wind we've had all day. And there goes the football.
Yeah, see, I never signed up for this part of the duties where you have to come and hold the football. I was always afraid of the kickers we had come and kick my finger off, so didn't want that to happen to me.
Let's see if we see another onside kick here.
Oh, it's another short one. Calling for a fair catch, and is taking the 26-yard line or so.
Pretty sure Coach strongly encouraged him to catch this football this time when he gets back out there.
They could have done that and saved their defense some trouble, right? He was standing there. If he had thought of it at that time, he probably got reminded after that first kickoff. In case of emergency, you could just fair catch it.
Exactly.
All right, so let's see what the Falcons can come up with here. They're down 14-0. They just barely blinked, and it was 2 quick TDs put up by Gonzaga. Here comes the response for the Falcons.
It's a good job right there. Again, I formation, 1 slip tackle away from breaking that one for a long game. But again, you're only down 2 plays. It equals to 14 points, but just stay the course, play your game, and don't try to get it all back in 1 play.
And that was Roger Mulatto. Great tackle there, saving the big gain. Mulatto, one of several guys with a bunch of college offers. He's got some from Army. A lot of talent on this Gonzaga defense.
Back to pass this time. is Jonathan Donnelly. Remember, that was the player that got sort of rolled over on their first drive, so good to see him back out there.
Good way to move the sticks for a first down because that's what's important. Stringing together positive plays will ultimately get you back into the end zone.
It's the first time they've had any success with the throwing, so at least maybe spread out the defense a little bit. That's Muhammad Ibrahim again. Good tackle there by Sangwa for Gonzaga.
I'm a big fan of how he's running the football. Again, he's running behind his pads, and the way he's running, you can tell eventually he's going to pop one of these runs for a big one because, again, that's a lot. That's simple physics. You know, something moving that fast at that size is going to break a lot of tackles, and he's showing good power, good run power here early on.
They give it to the lead man there, who is Cameron Taylor, but he is dropped.
And here's an interesting situation. You're at the 50-yard line. It's 3rd and about 3. I think your playbook is open here, and I like how they're able to expand the field. They line their receivers up outside of the numbers or at the numbers, so you have a good opportunity to run a quick slant here to get a big play.
They didn't start the play clock right away, so Good Counsel can wait and sort of get the free timeout for the end of the quarter. It's unclear if they're going to do it. They did decide to wait. Now, they may have gotten the defensive line to jump, but I'm not sure if the quarter was over yet by the time they actually came into the neutral zone.
Regardless, that's a mental error from that Gonzaga line.
Yep.
You've got to know, just let the quarter run out. The clock's right in front of you.
No, they waved it off and said that the quarter had ended first. Maybe he didn't make contact anyway. So that is the end of the first quarter. A big quarter from the Eagles, capitalizing on some big plays. They lead it 14-0, and it's a big 3rd down. When we begin the second quarter, we'll be right back here on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page.
Today, we're at McDonough Arena on the campus of Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., where we're tasked with broadcasting the basketball team's Midnight Madness event live to our client's Facebook page at the Washington Post. Now, considering that this venue is not truck-friendly, we've instead rolled out our Fly Pack kit for this event. Our Fly Pack allows us to produce a multi-camera stream live to the web by marrying together a series of state-of-the-art products and production tools for one easy setup. Now, we've built out our kit and run 4 independent camera angles back to our NewTek TriCaster. Our director is then producing a live show for the viewers at home. We've also tapped into the in-house network, the internet, which allows our director to pull in live graphics from an independent graphics operator who's working on his own system and feeding graphics across that network. Now, even though you can stream directly out of TriCaster, we've opted instead to pull an independent feed directly into an independent encoder called the Teradek VidiU. This great product simply allows you to take an HDMI feed and you can encode that broadcast separately directly to the client's platform.
All right, 3rd and 1. And it's Ibrahim again breaking through for the first down. It seemed like that end of the quarter came just at the right time. They had a chance to really set it up, know exactly what they were doing, and it's a big first down to keep the drive going. There's another player down for Good Counsel. It's Cameron Taylor.
And it's nothing fancy. It's just lining up. My man is better than your man in front of you. I'm going to beat you up front, and I'm going to run downhill. And you have to, like, again, just establishing that mindset. And this is how you keep a team in the game, because a team will feed off what the coach gives them. And if they see the coach panicking, trying to air it out, they're thinking they're down 55 points when you're only down 2 plays again. But they're sticking with their game plan. We're going to run the football. We're going to get up the ball. We're going to get off blocks. We're going to tackle in space well. If we stop shooting ourselves in the foot, then we can get back in this game. And when you preach that message to your players, it shows out here on the field. They're doing a good job of just trying to establish themselves from a physicality standpoint.
That's right. We thought we might see Bob Malloy get a little creative on that play call, but why get too cute there when you've got a running back like Mo Ibrahim? And so, like you said, you have to set the tone, send the message. We're going to run it down your throat. We're going to win the battle in the trenches. That's what today is all about.
And it's about dancing with whom you brought to the party.
Yeah.
You came to the party with your running game, dance with your running game, and leave with your running game.
Ibrahim in the backfield, gets it again, exploding through the line. That was a very quick first down. Seemed like it took 2 steps and he was already in the secondary.
He is a downhill runner. You don't see him make a lot of jukes or be too patient in the backfield. I mean, when he's ready to go, he's ready to burst up the middle.
And that was a nice subtle adjustment right there by good counsel. You see them align him to the line of scrimmage. Normally you have the back at 7 yards. He was at about 5 right there, which means if you're a defensive player, you got to know, okay, they're coming quick with the play. Yep. He's shorter up close to the line of scrimmage as he is right now.
Fake handoff to the front man. It's Ibrahim again, bouncing out to the right side into the secondary once again. Finally dragged down. But they changed it up a little bit that time for big success.
A Esiason-like with the fake right there by the quarterback. I like that. He had me fooled at first, but then he handed off to Ibrahim, who breaks off another long run. And now you're starting to see this team just start to swing away at that tree. Boom. Just good. Nice little wing T-type play right there where you're faking the fullback and then handing it to the tailback.
So a challenge now for the Gonzaga defense to try to do something to stop this Falcons running game. That's a little better, but still a yard or 2 picked up.
Now if you're Gonzaga, you want your defense to start anchoring and really stop this offense right now and hold these guys to a field goal. Best case scenario, you're forced to turnover, but you really have to show up and stop the run right here.
Hit in the backfield and dropped. An excellent tackle that time by Gonzaga's Nick DeChristopher. That's the man who blocked the punt on the special teams too, so a couple of very important plays for DeChristopher for Gonzaga.
Having a great first half is DeChristopher. Not one of the marquee guys for Gonzaga, but they're going to need a lot of their role players to come up big today if they want to beat good Counsel.
And that was a great play in space. You saw him about to crash down on that inside run play, realized it was the same play from before, abandoned ship, and was able to make that play in space. That was a great job right there by DeChristopher.
Great job wrapping up. We talked about all the strength that Ibrahim brings. I can't believe he brought him down. 3rd and 10 now. Play action. Nannon looking. It is complete. First down.
There's Pascal again. He can mix it up on offense, and he is tough to bring down, like you said earlier, Emory. Always a threat on both sides of the ball.
6'5", 6'4", 255. You know, running across the formation, dumping the football off. This is efficient football we're seeing right now. They run the football effectively for the last 5 to 6 plays in a row. Simple play action passes, dump it right off to your tight end.
He is so athletic. Pascal has a 4.7 40, a 39.5-inch vertical. Coaches told me they're just starting to discover the other things he can do besides just stop the run and get in the backfield. I mean, this is an athlete.
See him flanked out as an H-back on the formation.
Play clock is down to 0. I'm not sure they reset it at the right time. The clock automatically stops for the first down, and then they restart it once it's set, but it is a delay of game. Everybody was out there. It didn't seem like there was a big change in personnel. Just another mental error by good counsel.
We're up to 3 mental errors right now if you're good counsel. That's tough. You can't beat yourself. The other team is trying to do a good job with that already. You can't join in the party and beating yourself.
1st and goal from the 4 is very different than 1st and goal from the 9, so a little bit more life for the Eagles to maybe come up with a stop and hold them to 3. Airing it out, it is complete. Darnell Pratt with the catch, his first involvement today.
But great recovery there by Dean Engram. He fell down and could have easily allowed a touchdown there, but burst right back up and was able to make the tackle.
And nice little action by the quarterback. He opened his shoulders up as if he was going front side, came back to the weak side of the formation and found the open receiver. That right there, that just subtle movement is enough to freeze a defensive back 7.
So they got the 5-yard back from the penalty. 2nd and goal at the 4. Ibrahim waltzes in. Touchdown. Good counsel.
And Ibrahim is going to get credit for the touchdown, but that play was made, quite honestly, by Joshua Pascal blocking, getting that kick-out block on the outside and clearing a huge lane, probably the biggest lane we'll see here in D.C. For the back.
That's right. You don't get open lanes like that very often in the city.
Not at all.
Yeah, give Pascal credit on that play for sure, but that drive is all about Mo Ibrahim, really dictating the pace, being the workhorse, being that angry running back, and running for extra yardage after first contact.
J.T. Mitchell for the PAT, and it is 14-7. We had talked about how the defense for Good Counsel and special teams making some mistakes, some mental errors. The offense bailed them out on that big drive.
And was able to just get back to basics, just running the football and doing what they had to do.
Testing 1-2. Mohamed Ibrahim Jr. now 3 touchdowns away from breaking the school's all-time touchdown record.
So the touchdown from Ibrahim, and let's go down to Bob Trossett, who has more.
Well, Tony, there's no doubt that Mohamed Ibrahim Jr., Good Counsel's senior running back, has been quite a force for them, and he's continuing to show us why he is that force and that all-purpose back. He just recently broke the school's all-time rushing record, and he's now 3 touchdowns away from being the all-time touchdown holder in school's history. As you guys mentioned, quite a force. I even heard one of the Gonzaga defenders come off the field earlier on in the first quarter and say, "Coach, I got trucked." So I think that pretty much describes Ibrahim and his bulldozing mentality. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Bob.
And that's what I was saying earlier. He does tend to truck defenders if they're not ready. You have got to hold your ground. You have to be on your toes. You have to be in a ready position and have that mentality that you're going to attack a running back like Mohamed Ibrahim. Do not just sit and wait for him.
Tyree Randolph. It's a downfield block. Picks up the first down. You know, there are 2 really good backs on display here today. I think they might be trying in some ways to outdo each other.
Hey, you know what? You always have that as a back. When you're facing a guy that's just as talented as you want to show him, like, hey, I'm the big dog on the block. But you have to like how both guys are coming out and establishing themselves, running the football. Good job right there by the tailback getting outside Randolph and making things happen. Again, he's their bell cow.
Brown back to pass. Brings it to the near side for Dean Ingram. Beats a man. And picks up another first down.
Max Fisher almost missed his block there. Would have gone for no gain, but was able to reach out with his long wingspan and push the defender away to allow that first down.
Now you see them pick up the pace again. We saw that in the first drive, and they had a lot of success with this. They're coming back to it here on what I believe is drive 4 for the Eagles.
Ingram going in motion. The handoff for Lobby.
See right here on a previous play, nice little slip screen, getting good blocks outside, making that one guy miss in space, and that was Bud, the 2-star recruit, commit to Monmouth, I believe, going up to Jersey.
You made a good point, Nick. We can see in the replay, Max Fisher just barely getting there to block out that guy, or it could have been not a big play at all. They'll give it off inside to Randolph.
I'm noticing a trend here with this Gonzaga running game. They're running away from Pascal on just about every play. Pascal is kind of sitting and waiting on that right side of the line, ready to eat whatever comes his way, but Gonzaga is seemingly very conscious of going the other way. Smart
offense right there.
3rd and short, but Randolph barely getting back to the line.
Good job right there by Daniel Brady, 6 feet, 225-pound senior linebacker, making the stop behind the line of scrimmage. And now it makes it 4th and 1.
It looks like they're going. There were some delay from the sideline, but they're not changing the personnel. So here we go. It's another big opportunity for the Good Counsel defense. Play clock is down to 6.
Just confirming that it's 4th down, I think.
This is where you expect your defensive line to fire off the football and meet them at the point of attack.
High snap. They give it to Randolph. It's going to be pretty close.
I don't know.
The high snap threw that play off, threw off the time, and allowed Good Counsel to get back there in the backfield. Be interested to see if they give them the first down here with the spot, but it looks like he may be.
They're going to bring the chains out? Let's see.
Yeah, they're going to bring chains out. That was a good job by the defensive line just to play through the bad snap. That bad snap threw off the timing right there. Guys got in the backfield. You see right there, big number 75 blowing that play up for Good Counsel, Joshua Confi, 6'2", 340. It's a lot of man getting up in the inside that interior gap right there.
Joshua Confi, keep in mind, he was a tight end previously, or rather he was an offensive tackle, but he's been switching. He switched back from tight end to offensive tackle, and that's where coaches want to see him really eating away on that offensive line and defensive line as well. Actually, he's got a lot of size. Coach Kevin McFadden, defensive coordinator, told me he's got one of the quickest first steps he's ever seen. For a guy that size, he moves like a cat. So keep an eye on Conti the rest of this game, number 75.
That was a huge stop, by the way. That was a big play in this first half if you're Good Counsel, because we saw what they were able to do when they're not beating themselves. They can run the football. They needed that stop because Gonzaga was doing a solid job of driving the football down the field.
You can see just about 6 inches short of the first down. It's a game of inches sometimes. It would have been a big first down to keep the drive moving and maybe tack some more points on before halftime. Instead, the offense for Good Counsel, which was in good rhythm on that last drive, is right back out there. Ibrahim again.
Interesting how they align their backs, and you see Ibrahim is right on the backside of the fullback, which, if the fullback doesn't get a good block, the linebacker is going to stop two people with one blow. So you want to give yourself a little bit of space, so where you give that room for error if the fullback gets blown up. There's something they should keep an eye on if you're Gonzaga moving forward.
Throw it out to the near side. Josh Kelly.
It's a good play on second down, makes it third and short. And like we said before, it's, your entire playbook is open because you have the option to throw it deep. You can lean on your ground game. So you can get creative here with less than 5 minutes to go in the half.
5 minutes to go. So glad you could be with us here on the Washington Post Sports Page Facebook feed. Presented by DMVstream.com. Top high school football matchup here. Number 7, Gonzaga, hosting number 11, Good Counsel. And it's a big game in terms of the standings in the WCAC. 3rd down and 2, and Gonzaga needs to take their first timeout to make sure they have everything in order.
Yeah, if you're Gonzaga here, what you're trying to watch for, you've been burned before on the double handoff, the fake to the fullback, handed off to the tailback. You've also been beat up front as far as on straight ISO plays. So if I'm coaching Gonzaga, I would emphasize how important it is to make sure you tackle the fullback, number 1, regardless if he has the football. And on the outside, maintain, contain. Because if you're not protected, if you're trying to crash down inside, they're going to beat you on the outside with Ibrahim. And that's where you have to be. It's about assignment football right here on 3rd and short if you're Gonzaga.
We saw just a few moments ago Gonzaga went for it on a 4th and short and didn't get it. You get the sense here that if they're stopped on 3rd, they're going to go for it again?
I would almost think you have to in this situation.
Yeah, with a guy like Mo Ibrahim in the backfield, he's going to get one of these, you have to believe.
Some good notable alumni we saw up there on the screen.
Some big-time players for Coach Malloy and his alums. Ibrahim, first down and more across midfield.
That was the play we saw on the touchdown.
Exactly.
Where that wide zone, they bring him out in motion to try to kick out that end man on the line of scrimmage and just run the lead right behind him. And again, that's tough to stop. Again, when you have that much power and speed and size coming in one direction.
It was also the same play we saw previously with that stoppage on another crucial 3rd and short. Mm-hmm. Why not just give it, don't mess around, just give it to your tailback, let him go through.
Hit in the backfield and dropped that time. Good penetration there by the front line for the Eagles.
Yeah, big number 55 for Gonzaga getting there, getting the stop. And that's what you want to see. That's Malik Bridgman getting in there and making a play at or behind the line of scrimmage. That's what you want to see, a guy get off a block and make a stop behind the line of scrimmage. So now it's 2nd and long. It's going to back up Good Counsel, take them out of their tendencies for a minute, as we see here with their spread set coming out.
Manning to throw. Looking downfield. Tipped tipped away. It was actually a good defensive play by the receiver. He got a little piece of it. That was going to be picked for sure.
You never want to throw high over the middle of the field because that is going to be, and that was going to be a bad situation right there. Nearly was intercepted, but good job, like you said, by the receiver to knock it away.
You want to see your quarterback with a little more patience in that situation. He had all day to throw there. Great protection there on that one.
Yeah, you're right. He had a ton of time back there in the pocket. He didn't have to rush that throw at all. Probably could have found another option on that particular play.
3rd and 12. Nannon again. Under a little pressure this time. Airs it out behind his man, and it's incomplete.
He must have heard you up there in the pocket because he went through 3 different options and scrambled up to find a guy down the field, but just didn't work out. Good coverage right there by Gonzaga.
That's right. Nice pressure there by Joseph Wheat in the backfield. Got there just in time. I mean, he might have made that throw to the sideline if it weren't for that hit as he was throwing. So good pursuit. Way to stick with it from the Gonzaga defense.
That was the previous play right there where the receiver did a good job of knocking the ball away, saving an interception.
J.T. Mitchell to punt for the Falcons. Back to receive for Gonzaga is number 6, Ingram. Low kick. Fair catch.
That's a good job by Ingram calling for the fair catch because, again, it's tough. I returned punts in high school, and it's very tough to call a fair catch. You couldn't pay me enough to call a fair catch.
Especially in that situation there with the low punt.
Take a look at some notable Gonzaga alums. JT3, Kevin Hogan, that great quarterback from Stanford. Chris Jenkins from Villanova, and A.J. Francis. So some big names.
This is big-time DC right here in the backyard of the Capitol building.
There's Kevin Hogan, who was here not too long ago.
Stanford wish they had him this year, boy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Brown with the reverse. That play did not work out very well. They gave it to LeVay.
Yeah, good job right there by Jalen Green, the linebacker. 6'1", 215. Wasn't fooled on that play. Nice little end-around action, but good job getting the stop before a loss.
Something different that time from Gonzaga. It did not work. 2nd and long. Clock is ticking under 3 minutes to go now before halftime. Player still looking over toward the sideline. The play clock is down to 6. They get it off just in time. Randolph picks up a couple.
It's a good job right there because, again, Randolph is a guy, if you don't see him first, and next thing you know, he's running down the sideline. So you really have to stay gap sound when you're facing a guy that's a jitterbug back there in the backfield.
3rd and long. Sam Brown. Randolph, first down, coming out of the backfield and getting downfield for the reception. He's out near midfield.
We just talked about trying to find a guy like Randolph, seeing where he is on the field, and you see him doing damage like you mentioned in the open about him doing damage in the passing game.
That's right. He can get around to the outside. He can run the slant. He can take the dump off short. He can do a lot of things too, and look at him sort of running the wheel route here. So quick, sneaks behind the defense. He's got great hands too for the catch.
They lost sight of him. You could see the whole time no one was tracking him at all. That could have been even a bigger play.
Exactly.
But a great 3rd down conversion to move the chains and to keep this drive alive. Lobby again, cuts back. Picks up about 7.
It's a good play right there. They didn't allow him to get to the outside where he could have stepped out of bounds to stop the clock. This keeps the clock going. Good stop right there, forcing him back inside to where your help is. Solid defensive play as far as keeping the time rolling.
Brown. Complete. Lobby again. That time he does get outside after picking up the first down. I think he picked up the first. Let's see where they mark him. It is a first. Yep. He dove out of bounds about 5 yards farther, so he's pulled back, but even still, he did pick up the first and out of bounds.
It's a nice 2-minute drive right here by Gonzaga, just slowly taking bites out of the apple, moving their way down the field to the shadowy part of the field where the wind isn't as bad going in that direction.
Yeah, the defense almost wants to get to that shadowy part of the field. The sun is straight in their face right now.
And the clock stops with a first down, so you can still run the football in these situations. They make it 2nd and short. You don't have to use your timeouts. And when you have a guy like Randolph that can pick up big plays in chunks, you're not worried about running the football because you have that type of player in the backfield.
They're at the 30 now with a minute left. And they did give it to Randolph, and he's breaking into the secondary. Down inside the 5, he hit the pylon. Looked like he may have stepped out of bounds just before that. The pylon, because of the wind, was already on the ground, so I don't even know if it was lined up exactly on the goal line.
And we just mentioned how you're okay running the football when a guy like that is your tailback, because, again, you see him breaking it outside and just finding that open space, just cutting it, patient run, and now you see the speed and explosiveness just to get down the sideline. And he got out of bounds.
It was a good deception by Brown. I wasn't sure he actually gave it to him. He took that extra step back. It froze me for a second. I don't know if it helped the linebackers or the corners to get some space for Randolph. But a big 28-yard run. And now with 57 seconds left, they could get back to that 2-touchdown lead. Looked like he was in trouble in the backfield, managed to keep his legs moving, and he gets in. Touchdown, Gonzaga. The second of the day for Tyree Randolph.
That's a heck of a run right there, because he had to make a guy miss in the backfield, had to make a guy miss on the perimeter, and had to stiff arm a guy just to get to the end zone. So, again, he's been tremendous, and we've seen both teams in this ball game lean on both their tailbacks. It hasn't really been a perimeter game, and you see right here on a replay, making a move right there in the hole, getting outside, beating the in-man on line of scrimmage, and stiff-arming his way for the touchdown.
Yeah, great determination there. I thought he was going to be forced out just short, but stretched that ball across. Great effort there by Randolph. Ooh, that's wide right.
Marco Kemp misses the extra point. 20-7. Let's take a check-in with our DMVstream.com studio to find out more about Tyree Randolph.
Hey everybody, Bob Trassa here. Welcome into our Fairfax studios here on DMVstream.com. I'm joined by Mark Giannotto, and you're here to tell me a little bit about Gonzaga's running back, Tyree Randolph.
Well, he's one of the most dynamic runners in the Washington area, even though he's only about 5'8" on a good day. You see here he's got over 1,100 yards this year. He's a threat out of the backfield and as a receiver. This was a huge touchdown catch against Georgetown Prep earlier this year. He's a guy who's really hard to bring down because of his low center of gravity, and some college is going to take a chance on him. Some recruiters have been afraid because of his size, because he's small, but someone's going to take a chance on him and be really happy because he's proven the past couple years that he's as tough a runner as there is in this area.
Two touchdowns here in the first half for that man, Tyree Randolph. The kickoff is short, taken at the 32. And not a lot of running room. It was an alert play that time by Josh Kelly. I think every kickoff we're going to have to think back to that first kickoff where Counsel just failed to pick up the ball. It bounced, and Gonzaga pounced on it. Once it goes 10 yards, a live ball. That helped Gonzaga get out to that 14-0 lead. They're back up again by 2 scores, although they did miss the point after on the most recent touchdown, and special teams can always be a factor.
Now here's where it helps you out, because you have, 63 yards to go for points, for a touchdown at least, and you're running the football very well. So this was a good job by their special teams unit.
Good Counsel has all of their timeouts. They gave it to the fullback. That's Cameron Taylor.
Let's go! Looks like we got a flag here as well.
Happened after the play.
Let's go! Let's go!
Just a sideline warning there.
And a good job to see Taylor back in the game. He was hobbled a little bit early, but you saw that fake action again to the outside, giving your fullback a bone, and he's breaking one for a first down. Clock stops, and they call timeout. Now you're at the 50-yard line, and you're either going to find out how strong your kicking game is, or you're going to try to push this into the end zone for 6.
Yeah, and that's really when you wish you had a kicker with a big leg there to kind of just put it out of the end zone, put good counts on their own 20-yard line. Instead, they've run one play, and they're already at midfield. So great field position here for the Falcons to see if they can put some more points on the board.
We know that DeMatha has had a lot of success in this conference, and then, of course, in recent years, Good Counsel has really become one of the forces. So the last time it was not a WCA champion that was those two teams, it was Gonzaga. You can take a look back at the number of championships they've won and the most recent one.
That's right. It's all about the WCAC this year for Gonzaga. They haven't won it since 2002. They're not playing in the DC states this year, so their only postseason opportunity is the WCAC. They're so hungry, so desperate to get over the top, overcome DeMatha, St. John's to get it. It's going to be tough, and overcome Good Counsel, of course, as well. So 4 teams really gunning for this one this year.
There does seem to be a little separation between the top 4 and then the bottom half of the teams. A quick pass out for Donnelly. Gets out of bounds.
Smart play right there by Donnelly. Only took, 4 seconds off the clock and was able to get out of bounds to preserve some time. And again, now it's second and medium, second and let's say 8 or 9 or 7. I would take a shot deep down the field right here in this situation. Just try to get them to back up a little bit defensively, then come back to running the football.
Micah McNeil here on the near side, and it's batted down. That's an incomplete pass. They were running after just in case it had gone backwards.
That was Roger Mulatto again on the play. Great anticipation there, able to bat the ball away. He's made several big plays here in this first half.
Yeah, Mulatto made probably the play of the half defensively because, again, that play was going to pop for a big gain. Good job getting his big paw up there and knocking it down. So now it's 3rd long, and if you're Good Counsel, you're going to try to limit your options here and try to pick up half of this and use that last time out.
2 timeouts left, actually, for the Falcons. So they don't have to go to the sideline here. Play clock is down to 9. And he's hit and dropped.
Johnny Jordan is pumped up. The Maryland commit, does his best work usually on the offensive line, but he's a real threat on the defensive side of the ball as well.
That's the one thing they didn't want to happen in that situation. You can't take a sack. You have to know where you are on the field. You got to get rid of this football right now. That's too long to hold the football in this situation. You know these guys are coming. It's under a minute in the game, and you have to play quick if you're Good Counsel.
Timeout was called by Good Counsel there, which was strange. I thought maybe at this point they would just let the clock run out. Gonzaga still has 2 timeouts left, so I imagine they're setting up their play to go for it on 4th and long here. If Gonzaga stops them and gets the ball back, they'll have 2 timeouts and 15 seconds to maybe get in field goal range or at least take one attempt at the end zone.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if they didn't punt this one away and take it into halftime.
Stephon Diggs right now doing great things with the Vikings. They're undefeated. They got a big game tomorrow against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. So we'll get to see if Diggs can do some damage against that Eagles secondary. Their defense playing well, but he's another guy that's from this area that's playing on Sunday. So good talent in this DMV area.
I don't understand the timeout there if they're just going to punt.
Well, probably making sure these guys don't allow that leakage that we saw in the beginning of the game, but he blocked the punt.
Right.
Might see that rugby style here.
It's taken by Ingram. Spins around, gets hit. Tried to sort of break it outside, didn't get a chance.
That's more like it. Field the punt.
Yeah.
I remember Coach used to always say, like, as I ran out there, he'd say, make sure you fair catch it. We just want the field position. I can't hear you, Coach. Next thing I'm returning the punt. So that's the thing. Like, you always want the ball in your hands. You always want to try to do something with it.
Yeah, still a really risky play to return that punt, though, in this
Exactly.
wind. And he sort of had to shift over at the last second just to catch it. Last thing you want to do is put the ball on the ground and let Good Counsel run it into the halftime.
Well, sort of the difference between trying to make a play in the final seconds and playing it safe. Certainly with the lead, you would expect Gonzaga to be a little more conservative. They have 2 timeouts, but with 10 seconds, it's a long way to get into field goal range. Tyree Randolph, one more carry. And that will be the final play of the first half. A nice half for the home team. Gonzaga leads it 20-7. Still having just that one drive where Good Counsel really got things moving. We'll see what adjustments they make for the second half. We're going to take a break here. You are watching WCSC football on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at OleMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting, interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob, and you got to remember to have
Coach, just how important was it to you guys getting out with a hot start, 2 first quarter touchdowns?
It's very important. We always want to start well, but even more important, you better finish well. So we got to do a good job here in the second half.
What was the game plan and strategy on Ibrahim? You really limited him to only 1 touchdown. Is that going to continue in the second half?
Well, hopefully, we can keep their offense off the field a little bit, and that's the best plan to limit him. He's a very, very good football player.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck second half. Tony, back to you.
So you saw that the best way to keep Ibrahim from doing what he does is to try to put together some long drives for your offense, which makes sense.
Exactly. You want to just, again, let that be your best defense by staying on the field and having those long, sustained drives. If they can do that, I think they have a great chance of closing out this ball game.
That's right. Gonzaga doing a really good job of keeping the ball out of Good Counsel's hands in the first place. That's really the best way, like you said, to beat Mo Ibrahim in that Good Counsel offense. But, yeah, Gonzaga doing a great job attacking in the first half, giving themselves a double-digit lead into halftime. It's exactly what they want to do. But like Coach Travers said, it's going to be about finishing. Good Counsel won't go away lightly.
Time for us to take another break here. You are watching WCAC Football on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page, brought to you by DMVstream.com.
Transition with the fake, the setup, the back shot, and the score! Was that leader?
I think that was Pavilski. Yeah, that was Luke Pavilski. Creativity in that way, you can kind of see a little bit of
Welcome back, everybody. We are here at 19 I Street, Buchanan Field, the home of the Gonzaga Eagles for this WCAC matchup. The Good Counsel Falcons trailing Gonzaga 20-7 at halftime. My name is Tony Lamarzi. I'm joined by Emory Hunt and Nick Allison. And let's take a look at some of the highlights from this exciting first half. You talked about the emotion of Senior Day, and it really started off very, very well for the home team, the Gonzaga Eagles.
Well, I mean, they came out firing on all cylinders. You see right here, as we roll the highlights, just a great job finding that second window option in the passing game slant for the touchdown.
That's right. We weren't sure that was a touchdown, but they called it as so we went with it. Gonzaga went up early.
So it was Dean Engram with the touchdown, and then on the kickoff, the very next play, Good Counsel did not pick up the ball.
Had mental lapse right there in judgment. Got to recover that football. That's a live ball, and they ended up scoring on that drive with Randolph punching it in for 6.
So 14-0 very quickly before the good response from the Falcons.
Yeah, and there's both teams capitalizing in the inside the red zone, particularly Gonzaga. That's exactly what we talked about before the game. They needed to really capitalize on those opportunities once they approached the goal line, and they've done so far.
It's a big play by Pascal, and then the touchdown converted by Ibrahim. And then the man who's doing most of the damage today for Gonzaga, Tyree Randolph, with that big run to get inside the red zone. He was down like the 2-yard line, and he took it in here. This was a very tough 2 yards but he got it and got in. They did miss the point after, though, so that might come back to haunt them.
And that's what Coach talks about during summer workouts, during spring practice, working on your footwork. Showed a great job, great deal of strength in footwork right there on that play for the touchdown.
And this Gonzaga defense doing a great job as well. You see Johnny Jordan right there making the big tackle at the end of the half. But we saw Roger Mulatto make a lot of great plays as well, so they're really holding their own.
Let's take a look at some of the top 20 games, some of the big teams in the D.C. metro area. DeMatha and Carroll, that's something that a lot of the WCAC fans will be interested in.
Yeah, I can't imagine DeMatha loses that one, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can go undefeated here towards the end of the season. I think they have a big game against good Counsel here to finish it off in Week 10. But a lot of good teams there on the board. South Lake's doing big things at number 8 as well, in Virginia. But what do you see there, Emory?
Well, St. John's had the best opponent. They were on a bye week because you need that at this point in the season to get your body rested for that stretch run down the end.
Yeah, we were talking about the way the WCC is going to shape up. So St. John's still has to play Gonzaga down the road. So that's going to have a lot of implications on who gets that home field advantage in the semifinals in the playoffs.
The big one on that board there. Look at Centerville Lane and Egg losing 35-0 to their arch rivals over there in Chantilly. They're definitely going to be dropping down. Westfield coming off the bubble. We'll probably see them back in the top 20.
Nice upset there for Westfield.
Yeah, they're a good team. They just haven't played well at all the last few weeks. So maybe they're getting healthier, starting to get their groove back. Let's see if they can finish the way they did last year.
Not a lot of upsets on the top 20 board, so we like to see it when somebody else is going to break through. Time for another break here, so keep it right here. We'll be back and get you ready for the third quarter, which begins very soon. You are watching WCAC football on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page.
Injury. He kind of limped. Flat, pulled down. It'll be number 82, Joe Jordan. Pass rush. They had to run the ball a ton. 69 receptions a year ago. And averages, he was unable to track that foot. One of these tackles for loss. Guy who'll be a rundown. And then this game tonight, they want to head back to Poughkeepsie at 500 as well. Yeah, absolutely. You got to be fundamentally sound when this defense gets after it. They just got to do what you're obviously a guy, a ball hawk back there. It was a major point emphasis for us. And also, we need to be a better third down situation. There's finally a handoff. Calhoun's going to get the
Two longtime rivals collide tonight here at American University as the top-seeded St. John's Cadets face the second-seeded DeMatha Stags in the WCAC Championship. Hello, basketball fans. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined by the big man, Junior Burrow, the former UVA star. And Junior, you gotta love it. Tonight we've got one heck of a matchup. You look down the list, not a lot separates these teams. They'll give it to Cowan. They'll end up try to give the foul. Referees don't call it. And fittingly, Cowan's going to dribble it out. And you see him come on the court as St. John's is your 2016 WCAC champions. And they get the win as Anthony Cowan goes off by himself. He deserves it, gets the game ball. He wanted nothing to do with that scrum. He just has to be out there holding that ball.
Hey, easy out there. Goodness gracious.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at halftime here in Washington, D.C., the home of the Gonzaga Eagles. They lead Good Counsel 20-7. Time now to check in with some highlights from last night, presented by AllMetSports.com.
I had to make a play. I had to make up for all the mistakes that I had in the first quarter. You know, I wasn't feeling too well, but by the strength of God, I made that play. The first half, you know, we didn't do too well. We got blown up a lot. But Coach talked to us during halftime, and we had to come out and win. This game really meant a lot to us.
Every person on this field, on my team, is my brother. And we grind together, we eat together, and we sleep together. Everything we do is together. And I knew my brothers had my back the same way I had their back. And we was going to fight to the end, no matter what the score was. If it was 30-0 their way or 30-0 our way, we're going to fight to the end until we win. Secondaries, man, we had a great week in practice. We always, we scouted. We wanted to figure out what they were doing on offense. We figured out they ran a slant and the arrow combination. So outside linebackers and rovers, we both decided to disperse so we can jump the slant. And also we had the corner to come up on the arrow route. And personally, all of my DBs today, I love my DB brothers to death. DBU Nation, I love them. We all did what we needed to do today. The love on this team, the love we show each and every player on this team, it can't get no better than that. Some people don't get love at home, and some people don't get love wherever they go. But on this team right here, if you step on this team, you wear a Howard jersey, we're going to show you love. And if you got our backs, we got your backs, no matter what.
We scored on the first drive. I felt like in the second drive and the third drive, we let our foot off the gas, so Long Beach defense started to connect a lot more, and they started to stop us. This game was good, but I feel like next week we still got a lot of stuff to work on because Glenelg's still a good team. I feel as though if we keep working, like Coach said, get better every week. If we get better every week, I feel like it shouldn't be no problem.
I had to make a play. I had to make up for all the.
We're just about ready to begin the third quarter here in Washington, D.C. 19 I Street is the place, the home of the Gonzaga Eagles. Gonzaga leading Good Counsel 20-17. It is a big game today in conference, but also it's a big day for the seniors here at Gonzaga. Senior day, the last time they will play at home here for sure. Of course, they could host one of the postseason games, but all of those seniors being recognized with members of their family here, it's an emotional day. I think that had something to do with the great start for Gonzaga. They were really locked in from the beginning, Emory.
Yeah, a lot of passion here on senior day. You remember these days back in high school where you're not only focusing on just your teammates, but you're thinking about just the totality of your career and your family and things like that and what the school itself meant to you. And this is a very emotional day for these guys.
That's right. Sometimes you want to avoid the danger of, well, maybe we're a little bit too distracted on senior day. A lot of visiting teams like to take advantage of that. Actually, I find in other sports especially, you see a lot of those, you see a lot of letdowns with those senior days and homecomings, things of that nature. But Gonzaga using it as motivation and using it the other way to really hype themselves up, and they're really riding those emotions today in a good way.
Gonzaga with a good first half. They've put themselves in a good position to close this out. It won't be easy, but certainly they'd rather be up by 13 than down by 13. So when you look at the changes that the Falcons have to make, Emory, where do you think it begins for them?
I think it begins for them is just getting off the field on defense. Right now, their third down defense has been struggling. They haven't forced any punts. Gonzaga has had a lot of success moving the football down the field on them, and they've given up some big plays. If they can get off the field on third down and force a couple of punts, we've seen what their offense can do when given the opportunity. They can move the football, but they have to be able to get off the field in order to do so.
That's right, and Good Counsel really needs to control the ball a little bit better. They got beat on the time possession that first half. Let that offense dictate its pace. It can grind away. It can win the battle in the trenches when it gets after it. So let's see if they can protect the football a little bit better, make fewer mistakes on special teams, start controlling the ball.
And, Nick, we talked about the success from Tyree Randolph. When you've got the lead, you know you're going to run it, win or lose, unless you're down big. So they've got the lead. They're going to keep that clock moving, Gonzaga, which is really going to help having a guy like Randolph they can rely on in so many ways.
Gonzaga does not have to make many big adjustments here in the second half. Just keep doing what you're doing. And Tyree Randolph, he told me yesterday, hey, it's my senior day tomorrow. I'm going to put on a show. And so far, that's what he's doing. I think you're going to see more of him in the second half.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big play to Max Fisher. That's the biggest, quietly we've seen in this ball game. They hadn't gotten their big play wide receiver involved. I would expect a huge deep shot early on to get him into the ball game. We saw him getting coached up on the sideline by the position coach, and I think he has some opportunity to get deeper down the field, especially versus that coverage that we're seeing from Good Counsel.
Yeah, Max Fisher, not a guy who's going to haul in like 20 balls a game, but he will beat you 2 or 3 times in a big way. So Good Counsel has to stay on his P's and Q's on defense there against him.
When they played McDonough, Fisher had 9 catches for 118, so that was a big game. I'm sure he was capable of. I don't think he's going to need to catch 9 balls in the second half. But I wanted to ask you one thing about the X's and O's, Emory. We talked about the few times that Nannon was dropping back. There was not a lot of pressure from Gonzaga. Is that a factor because they're always prepared for Ibrahim? He runs in so many different forms. Sometimes they delay and give it to him. When you have a running back, you have to account for it. Is it harder to get pressure on the quarterback when he's throwing?
It's a lot harder because, one, because of the talent that they have in the backfield, and 2, because of formation. By them spreading the field, now you're going to have to get lined up, get a line, and account for everyone that's on the perimeter, and that still allows you to run the football. And I would expect to see Good Counsel spread the field a little bit more. And what we haven't seen, because you're right, they've had a lot of time back there in the pocket, is shorter plays to complement that. So in case he can't find someone deep down the field, where your check downs, where your hot reads, where your shorter routes. So if they can layer those routes a little bit, I think they can have a lot more success throwing the football.
All right, well, in case you're just joining us before we get started in the third quarter, let's take a look back at the scoring plays from that first quarter. And it started off with Gonzaga, the touchdown pass to Dean Ingram.
Again, passing through those second and third windows, finding the open guy, securing the catch for the touchdown.
And great blocking here. We said it earlier. All Tyree had to do was kind of sneak behind his line.
And staying with the theme there, good blocking, good running right there, getting into the end zone, Ibrahim for the touchdown.
And here's that great second effort from Tyree Randolph to stretch it across.
So those are the 4 TDs. It's important to keep in mind they missed the extra point on that one just before halftime, so it's only 20-7. But really, both of the running backs, the guys we featured, the guys that are the main players for each of these teams, doing exactly what you'd expect them to do today.
Yeah, that's right. I'm all smile seeing that because, again, as a former runner, I love seeing these guys get out here and run the football and just getting back to basics, which is why Good Counsel is having some success. When you're seeing a team that's just running downhill like this, a traditional I formation power running game, it's tough for teams in this generation of spread offenses and defenses to match up.
Randolph with 2 touchdowns. Last week against DeMatha, he did not score a touchdown, which was the first time all year that Randolph was kept out of the end zone, and he made up for it in that first quarter. You get the sense, though, he's going to need at least one more to make sure that Gonzaga wraps this one up. And a lot on the line for Good Counsel. They already have that one conference loss, and they've got a game with DeMatha coming up, which is not an automatic loss, but it's certainly a tough one coming up. So they don't want to have to drop to 3 losses in conference play. They need a good response here to start the third quarter.
From what I've seen out of Good Counsel this year, they seem to be a real second-half team. Against St. John's, I mean, they got stomped in that first half. There was no way they were going to come back, but they really played well in that second half, and I believe outscored St. John's in that half. So don't be surprised to see them come out with some fire under their butts and really get after it here.
Well, they're going to start with the ball here, so the kickoff coming from Gonzaga. The kickoffs have been eventful pretty much every time. The wind feels like it's died down a little bit. We'll see how that affects the play. But really when it's Marco Kemp is the kicker, and he doesn't really have the ability to drive it down toward the opposite end zone.
Fall on the ball if you're Good Counsel. Again, don't let any errant kickoffs bounce up in the air. Live balls can cost you, as we've seen in the first half.
And the wind is starting to pick up here right as the kickoff comes.
Shouldn't have said anything. Another short kick by Kemp. They muffed it, and like you said, Emory, good advice, just fall on it.
Just fall on it. Don't be a hero, man. Just fall on the ball.
Still very good field position to start this second half.
Exactly, and we talked about this all throughout the first half, how well Good Counsel has moved the football. So this is great for you if you're the Falcons. You come out, you get great field position on a short kick, whether it was intended or not, but great field position, you know you can lean on your ground game. You have to be excited.
Oh, my goodness.
Play action up front, and they give it to the second back, who is Ibrahim. They all bid on that first little fake, and it's a big run to start the third quarter for Good Counsel.
Gap responsibility is everything. No one had that backside C gap, and Ibrahim, a very talented running back, or any running back worth his salt, will find that backside cutback, and he did a good job right there. They sealed off the perimeter, and it was just a huge lane again for the big gain on the ground.
Yeah, you don't see that kind of space open up very often, and he had all kinds of room there on that left side.
There's a Gonzaga player shaken up. It's 28, John Marshall. He was the man who got the initial hit, and it seems like his wrist is bandaged up. He may have re-injured something as he comes over. It looks like maybe his thumb is bandaged, and he seems to be in a lot of pain just with that initial contact trying to make the hit.
I mean, that's a lot of tailback coming at you right there, and coming with some momentum, and so you got to make sure you bring your shoulders and your body with you when you're bringing him down. That's a good opening play for Good Counsel. So they've had back-to-back good plays. The recovery right here on the short kick, and now they got a good run play on first down.
They'll give it to him again. Plowing through everybody. Not a lot of space in there, but he made his own space.
I'm very impressed with how he's running the football. He looks good as a tailback as far as running behind his pass, being patient, running behind his fullback, who's also doing a great job, and that offensive line that's also clearing holes for him to run through.
And I'm impressed as well with their center, Brandon Johnson, really quick off the snap and really is able to move a lot of, with his 300-pound frame, he's able to really surge forward.
Kind of gave it to the up back.
Cameron Taylor is the guy who does a lot of blocking every once in a while for a change of pace. They give it to him. There was a play in the first half where it surprised the Gonzaga defense, so it gained some yards. Not such a big gain that time, but 2nd and 5 now. Two receivers out to the top of your screen now is Donnelly and Pratt. Hit in the backfield, breaks the tackle, but too many Eagles there. Good penetration.
Flying around the football right there, pun intended, and a good job not taking the cheese, because we saw the fullback fly up in the hole once again, and he could have been fooled thinking that he had the football, and they were able to stay true to what their assignment was and make the stop behind the line of scrimmage for a loss.
Big third down coming up. Let's go down to Bob Trossett, who has a report. Bob.
Well, Tony, I had a chance to catch up with head coach of the Good Counsel football squad, Bob Malloy, as the start of the third quarter occurred, and he really talked to me about eliminating the mental mistakes on the offensive side of the football and defensive, which is a huge, huge thing for them, as he really needs this offense and Ibrahim to get more touches, and they're already looking like they're off to a good start here in the third quarter. Tony, back to you.
Thank you, Bob. So that was an incomplete pass on third down. They're going to go for it on 4th and 7. Mannon rolling out under pressure immediately. Steps up, throws, and it is incomplete. Nearly picked off, but it is incomplete. So Good Counsel turns it over on downs. They had a lot of things going for them on that initial drive, but it sputtered as they got across midfield.
And that's where you want your offense to have a little bit of balance, to come in and try not to make sure you beat yourself. And that play before really curtailed what they want to do. And when you're not used to passing the football like they want, like you're seeing here, those type of things and protection can happen.
And there's that surge into the backfield by Roger Mulatto. We've said his name a number of times today. Great penetration by that Gonzaga line. Huge play on 4th down.
Might not end up mattering now. I thought that third down screen pass, I thought there was a lateral. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
It was dropped, and the referee started blowing the whistle, so it didn't really matter, but it was very close to being a live ball. Brown gives it off to Lobby again. A lot of movement in the backfield that time. Misdirection didn't seem to be too effective that time. 2nd and long for the Eagles. Lobby again, they fake it this time. Go back the other way. This is Fisher. He's got some blockers in front of him. First down for Max Fisher, breaking into the secondary. Down the sideline to the 30, the 20. Fisher, is he going to get there? Yes! Touchdown, Gonzaga!
And there's your big play for Fisher right there. Here's a guy that you want to get the football to. They wanted to get him involved in the ball game, and what a great way to get the ball in his hands quickly and allow him to utilize his speed and athleticism to break free for a touchdown. That right there was probably the biggest play of the game because, again, now it stretches that lead out, and you're going to force a team like Good Counsel to break their tendencies, and that's a heck of a job by Coach Trivers getting him the football and allowing him to run for a big game.
Exactly. He's not one to always pick up 7, 8 yards. He's more the kind of guy that is going to break a huge play like this. I mean, look at that speed coming around the outside. You thought he might be caught there by number 8, but there he goes. Just great speed. That's why he's a Division I football player going to NC State next year.
They got to go for 2 here because of the missed kicks for point. They throw it up toward the end zone. It is caught, and he's in. The completion is good. So that makes up for the missed PAT at the end of the first half. And a great surge for Gonzaga. It looked as though they were going to be in trouble with that opening drive, but maybe after they turned it over on downs, Good Counsel sort of dropped their heads a little bit because it was a quick strike the other way for the Eagles.
Life and football is about how you respond to the things that happen to you, and we saw Gonzaga respond well to the adversity of getting driven on down the field, but when you come back with a big play off of a turnover on downs for a touchdown, that answers the question that you wanted to see people had and what they were going to do in the second half.
And this is exactly what Good Counsel wanted to avoid here. They needed to come out like a ball of fire, and they did well to start off that possession, but the 4th down turnover really cost them, and you can't take a break on defense. They obviously let up a little bit on that right side of the field, and it cost them.
You can tell Max Fisher is a fan favorite. A lot of fans were up on their feet as he was sprinting down the sideline. He outran some ankles on that play, too. Showed a little bit of speed.
Yep.
Yeah, Max Fisher told me his favorite receiver in the NFL, the one he wants to model himself after, is Larry Fitzgerald, which I like to hear, picking a 33-year-old guy instead of, I always expected, Odell, something like that. But he likes the veterans.
Well, probably because he has that veteran speed. If he was a little bit more explosive, then yes, Odell. But
exactly,
that's a good bit of perspective by the young man. Like, you know what? I'm more of Larry Fitzgerald. I'm not the big flashy guy. I'm a guy that's going to be consistent. I like that.
The kickoff going straight out. So they get the ball at the 35, or they get to move him back and re-kick it.
I would say I would take it at the 35. I mean, it's not like you've had success returning kicks in this ball game, and why not take the free yardage, get back out there on offense, and just start running the football like you've had.
The deepest players to receive this ball are at the 25-yard line. So very unusual to sort of deal with this short of a kickoff.
And it's not like you had guys sprint all the way down to cover the kick, so these guys are not tired.
Yep.
So I've taken the ball right there at the 35-yard line and played offense.
And the wind, once again, knocking the ball off of the tee.
Saw that coming.
And number 14 is a brave soul, I tell you what. See, now he's doing the Emory Hunt approach. He's like, you know what? Now you go down and someone else come and holds this football.
Oh, maybe not.
Okay, one more try, see if the ball can stay on there for a little bit. Bounces it in.
And you saw the ball wiggle a little bit right before it got down. I thought we were going to see a whiff.
But it is around the time for Charlie Brown to start coming around.
So it was a good decision then, because they're on the other side of midfield already.
It's a good kickoff return right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and Marco Kemp, their kicker, only a sophomore from what I'm seeing. So he's got some room to grow. Let's see if he can start booting a little further in the next 2 years. But this field position seemingly would be really costing Gonzaga, but they're up 3 scores.
They'll give it to Ibrahim, going off to his right. Not a lot going on there. Picks up about 3.
And see, now you want to start to see if they can get something going throwing the football, because as much as you want to preach you only down 3 plays, you're really down at this point 21 points, because they haven't had the success of getting those big plays in chunks.
Yep.
They got to get right back in this game. Then they can get back to what they do best, which is running the football.
Yeah, no need to hurry. There's plenty of time left. Just keep grinding it down the field here.
I'll give it to him again. Break some tackles. 3rd and about 4. You talk about maybe them having to resort to the passing. Nannon only averaging 105 passing yards per game. That's not a big number, so it's not really part of what this team is made up to do.
Yeah, and that's the issue when you're facing, a lot of run-heavy base teams. A lot of times you can run yourself back into a ball game, but you're going to need those big runs. And they've had medium runs. They haven't had that big gaping run just yet.
So 3rd and 3. Another big play for Gonzaga defensively. They'll screen it out, and it is complete. Is Pascal out there on the offensive end again? Was thrown down late. I didn't see a flag come out yet.
A little surprised they let that go. It seemed to be a clear, unnecessary roughness, but letting them play.
Letting them play, keeping emotions calm. You see right there the quick pass here, big play, linebacker, tight end, trying to make somebody miss in space, and just a good job. Yeah, he was down right there. Good call by the ref.
Is that where they're spotting him?
It looks like they're spotting him right there. They're giving him the first down.
Pascal, a receiver again here.
Yep, in motion.
Oh. And did you see that block he just put on the defender? He can hurt you in a lot of ways.
That was good leadership right there, too. He saw his teammate getting into a little bit of a physical discussion with the opposing team. It was able to pull him back and was like, hey, man, let's not beat ourselves. Let's not get a penalty. We're doing something positive here. We're moving the football. But they need a big play at this juncture to conserve time, but also just to get right back in the game in a hurry.
2nd down and 7. Nannon. Oh, the ball's on the deck. It is loose. Everybody's pouncing on it. Gonzaga says they have it.
Looks like they do.
Another big play for Gonzaga. Is it Ibrahim that's down?
You hate to see that. He grabbed his knee pretty quickly and hit the deck. Hopefully he can pop back up.
Let's take a look on the replay and see if we can see what went wrong in that play. He never really had the ball when it was given to him.
Yeah, they ran this double dive play a lot of times in this ball game, and right there, just a good job by the defensive lineman getting his hand in there and knocking it away. He didn't really have it, like you said, secure. So by him getting hit as soon as he was trying to secure that football, it popped right out.
He has not moved very much since lying out on the floor there, and just a lot of people holding their breath on that good Counsel sideline.
Yeah, you really hate to see this. And there's Bob Malloy hovering over him right now, the head coach. And when he looks that concerned, you got to be concerned yourself here.
Yeah, and, senior prospect, running well, good kid, good player. You just hope that, it's something not serious, because when he hit the ground, he really went after it pretty quickly and was in pain, and you felt for him because, one, you fumbled the football, but then you get hurt. You just hope you're able to bounce right back up and run off and jog off and everything be okay. But you see right here again the double dive on a replay. This has been a great play for them, but that was a good job by number 73, Johnny Jordan, staying home. Like, he didn't take the cheese. He looked at the fullback, run past, didn't have the ball, found the football on the second go around, was able to get the guy down and forced to fumble.
That's right. And Johnny Jordan really takes a lot of pride in playing to the whistle. He's an effort guy. He doesn't take plays off. You saw right there the pursuit. He's able to shed blocks and really get to the football and finish plays. That's what Gonzaga likes to do.
See Ibrahim sitting up now, and just hope he's able to pop up and jog off and be okay. He's a really good player.
Still not putting any weight on that right leg.
Yeah, Mohamed Ibrahim, much like Randolph, has several offers to play college football, but a lot of coaches are a little concerned about his lack of height. He does have offers from, he's got interest in offers from Kentucky, Iowa, Temple, Boston College, schools like that. So, bright future for him. Hopefully he gets better here.
Well, the good coaches will realize that size is not a skill, and really understand that they have themselves a true gem in a tailback like that, because he's been running real well today.
So Gonzaga takes over after the fumble recovery. Too many guys were moving back there. The flag came in.
It's not CFL, so you can't have those forward motion guys back there moving.
The Gonzaga students loving life here. They have been treated to a very good display here on Senior Day. It's Senior Day for the senior students as well. Randolph breaks outside, carrying some tacklers with him as he gets back up towards the first down. A big gain on 1st and long.
We've seen a lot of tailbacks in high school football be Randolph size, and they'll go on to college, and sometimes coaches will move them to receiver. But we've seen a lot of these shorter guys have success. Tariq Cohen at North Carolina A&T, Chase Edmonds at Fordham is doing a great job. You also see Chico McClatcher at Washington doing a good job as well. So when you have a guy of that stature, if he's able to show that he can run inside and able to show he can be a dynamic player, they're going to have a place for him. We saw Dexter McCluster at Ole Miss as well, too.
Keeps those legs moving, spins, and just gets barely across the line. Good Counsel has the ball. The referee said they were down already. You mentioned Ole Miss at the end there, but I was going to say that you don't have to be a BCS player to be a big-time college running back.
Exactly.
I mean, there's lots of teams you can find a home, and it's not just, even in the NFL, not everybody is from one of the Big Five conferences.
Right. I think there's a situation, I want to say I saw a statistic earlier in the season where when the season started, we were at more undrafted free agents than drafted players in the NFL.
Nice.
A lot of those guys came from smaller schools.
Sure. 3rd down, they're throwing it out, and it is complete for the first down. Brown to Dean Ingram. There's a flag down. He's going to come back. Ineligible downfield. Happened pretty quick.
Exactly. They caught that pretty quickly.
So take away the first down instead of 3rd and 3. It's 3rd and long now.
Now, if you're Gonzaga, you're looking at 3rd and long. We're up 21. You don't want to take a gamble and go deep down the field. You just want to run your offense and try to chew up a little bit more clock, because now we've seen on the opposite side, they're going to be without their best player, probably in Abraham.
Yep. The play clock is down to 10. Randolph gets the 5 yards back, but is going to bring up 4th down. Game getting a little bit more physical after the whistle. I think frustration is starting to mount for Good Counsel, not just with the score, but you lose your player like Ibrahim, who is probably not going to return. I don't see him standing on the sideline. He may be on the table back there.
I see him walking on the sideline, but he's walking gingerly. At least he's up and walking around, but he's not going to. He's definitely not going to run. You don't want to get out there on that bad will, try to run the football.
John Marshall with the punt for Gonzaga. Fielded around the 35. Breaking the tackle is Scott, and then he lost the ball. It came out. I think Gonzaga got it back. Incredible.
Looks like it. And what a great run it was until the last second, too.
That would be the 3rd special teams error by Good Counsel in this ball game. And 3 strikes are out. You don't want to make those mistakes in the special team. I understand trying to get out there and make a play. He almost had the fumble recovery on the run play during the series, but the refs blew it dead. Here you drop the football, you hurt your football team, but I understand the situation because he wants to make a play. And like you said before, he had a good run, broke a couple of tackles, but you got to protect the football. And unfortunately, there's no replay to see if you had that ball tucked away, but that clearly was out as a fumble.
And now you got to believe Gonzaga is just going to come down here and start grinding away with that run game. Expect more handoffs here for Randolph and just be conservative with your ball control.
More time out there for the Falcons. The defense has not had any rest. And play is dead, maybe movement again. Timeout. I think the play clock was at 1 now, so they called that timeout. But you talked about the special teams play in case you're just joining us here on our Washington Post Sports Facebook broadcast. Early in the game, there was a block punt. That was the first time the Good Counsel punted. Then on a right after a touchdown, the ensuing kickoff, Good Counsel didn't field the ball, so it went the 10 yards and it was picked up, and then now a fumble on a return. So just a lot of things going wrong for Good Counsel. Let's head back to the DMVstream.com studio and check in with Mark Giannotto.
Hey everybody, welcome into our studios here in Fairfax, Virginia on DMVstream.com. Bob Trossett alongside Mark Giannotto. You're here to talk to me a little bit about the Maryland commit and Gonzaga's offensive lineman, Johnny Jordan.
There's a phrase, a mountain masquerading as a man. You can see him right there. He's a huge dude, Johnny Jordan, but don't let that fool you. He's a pretty mobile guy, too. Can really get out on the edge and block. Last year he played a lot of left tackle for Gonzaga, but he can also play guard. I think that's probably the position he'll play at Maryland. Big enough to pull and block in the open field, strong enough to pancake you. Tyree Randolph's had a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns over the past couple years, and a lot of those yards and a lot of those touchdowns have come running behind Johnny Jordan. So a guy really to look out for at the next level, but also today against Good Counsel.
On that 1st and 10, there was a penalty on Gonzaga. So now they're back at the 30, and it's 1st and 25. Randolph finds some room. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage and a little bit more.
And what a block that was by Antoine Walker there. Really pushed forward and allowed Randolph to go ahead.
Yeah, Randolph made a move in the hole right there. That was just tremendous. Again, when you're able to freeze frame a defender right there at the point of attack, that's always a good thing.
They'll give it to him again, dragging some players with him as he gets up to midfield.
Starting to see a lot of substitutions come in for Gonzaga, getting fresh guys at the point of attack. And what that does is it wears down a defense even more because they're fresh, you're a little bit tired, and you're trying to make a play, and that's when the big runs start to happen.
3rd down and 5. Play clock is at 14. Brown. Randolph out of the backfield, complete. 1st down. Looked like the first one he was looking for was Ingram, but then he checked down and found his man.
Good piece of patience right there, too. Again, like you said, he was looking for Ingram, but saw he had the outlet, didn't force anything, got the football to his best player.
And that's Sam Brown. He's not going to take a lot of risky chances there. He likes to make the right throw, and that's what he thrives on, having that steadfast approach and making the right decision.
Randolph to the sideline for a breather this time. It's Lobby, 24 in the backfield there. Under 3 minutes to go. The clock really working in Gonzaga's favor. They give it to Lobby. Breaks free into the secondary. Breaks another tackle. Still moving forward. And gets down toward the 20-yard line.
It's a lot of effort right there by the tailback. Making things happen. Breaking 3 or 4 tackles to pick up that big gain.
Gonzaga trying to keep it moving quickly. They bobbled the handoff there, but a good play by Lobby to squeeze it. Trying to go quick. You mentioned that the guys are tired there, working backwards for the Falcons, so try to keep them out there and not give them a chance to shift their personnel and get fresh guys. A lot of heaving shoulders there for the Falcons.
And a lot of times, as a player, you don't understand what the coaches are talking about when they're making you run gassers. But this is why. This is where it comes into play. You just think coach is being you know what, but this is what he's trying to prep you for the 3rd and 4th quarter when you have to be in game shape to make things happen. You have to get a stop here if you're Good Counsel.
High snap. They're going with Lobby again. Trying to drag the pile forward.
And I'm still waiting for them to run around the left side. They always go away from Pascal. It's always to the right or down the middle. I wonder if Pascal might benefit from a switch to the other side of the line, or if the defense can kind of mix it up and change the tone here. I'm not sure.
That's a good call right there. Yeah, I would try to get my best player in position to make a play.
Randolph back out there.
Yeah, because otherwise what will happen is you'll see him slowly probably take a play off thinking, well, it's not coming my way, and that's when you get gashed for the big game, whether it's a pass play or whether it's a run play coming back the other way on the misdirection.
Another first down for Tyree Randolph as Gonzaga keeps this drive alive. Cuts back, finds a nice seam there in the middle. The line is really starting to impose their will now.
You talk about a back having loose ankles. That's a perfect description of it. To make that move right there in a tight, confined spot and not get touched, that's just impressive, man.
Yeah, great work by that offensive line. Johnny Jordan, Cameron Warfield, Antoine Walker, really with a great surge here consistently on this drive.
They give it to him again. Didn't break outside, and there's a flag down. Looked like there might have been some room to break out toward the left side.
And that was a play before where he actually broke somebody's ankles in the hole right there. That was just a good job making that guy miss. Again, Trace, I wish I had. You know, it's just fun to watch a guy like that make plays consistently. And you can see why he's a highly thought of player in the eyes of college coaches.
Penalty is an illegal shift against the Eagles, so it's going to bring it back a little bit. Clock is rolling at 47 seconds. Play clock at 20, so just a couple plays left here in the third quarter, which has been a big third quarter for Gonzaga. Making some big plays defensively, getting some turnovers, and punching it in one more time, plus the conversion. So everything going the Eagles' way. 2nd and 9.
Oh,
that play sniffed
there he is.
down very well. You can't run away from that time.
He's not asleep.
Did he come from the other side that time? I didn't notice. Maybe he mixed it up.
Well, if you're the ball carrier on that play, you probably thought it was 5 of them that hit you on that one, but it was just him blowing up the play right there in the backfield. This is what you want to see from a guy like Pascal. Again, 6'4", 240, 255, just blowing up a run play. And hopefully that can spark this defense for good counsel as we go to the fourth quarter.
All right, well, that concludes the third quarter. Gonzaga adding to their lead is now 28-7 for the Eagles. They'll have an important 3rd and 13 coming up when we begin the fourth. Right after this, you are watching WCAC football on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page, brought to you by DMVstream.com.
Okay, guys, so that's player to watch number 1. We need number 3, please. Kelsey for another 20. Ready? Ready, come back.
So we are back to start the fourth quarter. It is 3rd and 13. Gonzaga trying to ice this game and close out here in the fourth. If they don't get this first, hope will still be alive for good counsel. Rolling out and batted down. Excellent defensive play. Micah McNeil.
I mean, Jalen Lee was basically got undressed on that play. The ref didn't call the holding. They let it roll. But good defensive stop if you're good counsel. But Lee looked back like, okay, he's going to call holding, and my jersey's completely off. You're going to see right here on the replay, just busting right through that A gap, and
oh, my goodness. It's a little bit flagrant.
Right.
Refs are letting them play today, and Sam Brown had a little bit of a late throw there as well.
The field goal is good. Marco Kemp, who has not been having his best day kicking the ball off, gets some big points on the board there to extend a 31-7 lead.
And he's kicking with the wind
going
in that
direction.
direction.
Makes a difference.
But here's the thing, though. Whether it's high school, college, or pro football, people want to clown the kicking game until you need one. But when you have it, it's a weapon, and we've seen it play out in this ball game.
So they would have liked to add another touchdown, but that's a big 3 points. And I'm looking down the sideline, and it doesn't seem like we are going to see Ibrahim again in this fourth quarter, which makes the comeback all the more difficult. Fourth quarter starter, that means the Gonzaga students all take their shirts off. Not sure exactly why that's their tradition here. I'm not sure if I approve of it either, but that's the way they like to do things here.
Good to be young, boy, because, again, the recovery time when you get sick is quicker than when you're our age, you know.
So here comes Kemp going with the win, like you said. A couple players bump into each other there. It's finally fielded by good Counsel's Kelly. And now they have a big task ahead of them. But you get to this point in the game, guys, and
test, 1,
you
2.
know that these teams could face each other again in the playoffs. And when that mentality changes, you didn't used to have to play teams twice in the football season. Now it's going to come back. And in some ways, you have a motivational advantage if you lose the regular season meeting, right? I mean, you don't want to lose in the regular season, but you're a little more fired up the next time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and look what happened to Good Counsel last year against Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, right?
Beating DeMatha on national television the regular season, pretty impressive win there. But then they got stomped in the playoffs, so it can turn around.
Tyree Randolph has been having a big game. Let's go down to our sideline reporter, Bob Trossett. Bob.
Well, Tony, there was so much talk going into this one about Good Counsel's Mohamed Ibrahim, the all-purpose running back that we've talked so much about. I think it's safe to say that Tyree Randolph and this Gonzaga offense has stolen the spotlight in this one. Just a few days ago, he tweeted, "Time to turn up my game these last 5 games of my high school career." And boy, he has sure done that one, as they are in control here at the start of the fourth quarter. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Bob. I think the Gonzaga fans excited about the confidence of talking about 5 more games. You never know how deep you're going to go in the playoffs, but they've got their eyes on the prize for sure. It's going to be very difficult. You have to go through Good Counsel, St. John's, DeMatha again. I mean, they still have to play St. John's in the regular season, so a lot of games to go through, but somebody's going to be the WCAC champion.
That's right. A lot of self-belief in this Gonzaga team. They really think they're going to be the first team in 14 years to win that WCAC title here on I Street.
It's a good form tackle right there by Joseph Whaley, the outstanding defensive end. Tall, angular guy making a stop right there with a good stick.
Good Counsel picks up the first. The clock is rolling again now that the ball is set.
Big man hustling off the field. I like that. Bridgman.
Yeah, Gonzaga really emphasizing this week playing to the whistle. They struggled last week against DeMatha with too many self-enforced errors. They have a phrase they like to throw on. It's called a loaf. It's something that really emphasizes. It stands for lack of finish, and it's about every player doing their 1/11th, everybody playing to the whistle. If you don't, they add it up. They have a tally on the sideline. You get punished in practice the next week. So they're really trying to avoid those errors that they made last week against DeMatha and have that maximum effort.
You can take a look at this graphic. It seems like it is not going to be a victory for the Falcons today, but like you said earlier, Nick, you know, the playoffs are a different story. They've got a lot of pedigree. Their coach has a lot of belief, and you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. Obviously, getting some players healthy would make a big difference.
45 years of coaching football for Bob Malloy. That's impressive. 382 victories. That's just remarkable. You know, that type of longevity, that type of consistency, being a successful coach at 2 different programs and all the state titles. You see, that's why he's in both halls of fame, 2 different halls of fame for coaching.
It's 4th down now. Play clock is down to 12 as the Falcons break the huddle. Scoreboard has it listed at 4th and 1. I think it's a little shorter than that. Let's see what the front line for Gonzaga can do. Not enough. Bouncing outside and picking up the first down is Stott.
It's a good run right there, showing nifty footwork getting outside. I was waiting for him to run it right up into the B gap, but I saw him getting outside, and I was like, okay, this may be an issue. You don't want to get too cute in a short yardage situation, but he made the best of it, made the most of it with that footwork. So good job right there moving the sticks.
Tremaine Scott has 2 college offers so far from Toledo and Akron. He's got another year of football left in him, though he's only a junior.
Good MAC programs right there.
Yep. Swinging out wide. Bobble the catch finally brought it in was Donnelly.
No horse collar on that one. So we've seen. So evidently the jersey pulls are in play.
Yeah, that's at least the second one we've seen. Right?
They're letting them play today.
What actually helped him out on that play was the bobble. I'm glad we're going to the replay here. That was just a short bobble, but it kind of threw off the angle for the defender and allowed him to get extra yards, get outside.
2nd down and 4. Stott again, hit and dropped. 2 players there. It's Melado again. We've seen a lot of him today. And also helping out was Cliff Wallace.
Yeah, Wallace flying up there, playing linebacker and wide receiver, showing you he's a tough guy, not afraid of contact, run up in there, getting his head, putting his head down and getting that good stop right there in space.
Tackle for loss and the big 3rd down. The biggest story, though, that clock keeps moving. They're coming up on 7 minutes, so it doesn't seem to be a lot of urgency with the Falcons here. You'd think they'd want to at least, maybe get 1 touchdown and see what happens.
See what happens.
Pass is behind the intended target. Another thing about these passes, they haven't really had any sort of downfield threat at all. All the receptions they made, they're all screens, short passes, plays that can help you drive the ball. But if you're trying to come back, you try to, at least go toward the secondary.
And that was a sight adjustment right there. The quarterback saw it, but the receiver didn't see it. Right. He was supposed to stop right there and catch the football. But you're right. You want to push the ball vertically down the field in this situation. Playing this East-West game, I don't think favors you in this situation and favors Gonzaga.
So it's 4th and 5. They'll hand it off. Stott again. And he is not going to get the first. They will turn it over on downs, and Gonzaga will have it back with 6:51 to go.
That's exactly what you want if you're Gonzaga. You let the other team run out a good portion of the clock. You get the ball back, and your offense with your ground game can do a good job of owning the TOP themselves.
And watch number 8, Mitch Johns here on the tackle. Was a quarterback, grew up playing quarterback, was the quarterback his sophomore year for JV. Coach sat him down at the end of the year and said, what do you want to do? The implication being you're not playing quarterback at varsity. He's like, I'll play defense, coach. He's put on about 40 pounds since. Now he's a standout linebacker with several college offers, Army, Navy, bunch of schools looking at him. Good success story for him.
And that was a good job right there, just getting the blocker engaged and throwing him out the way and making a stop. There's Pascal again blowing up that play in the backfield. Again, he's been involved a lot in this game. Even when he's not involved and teams are running away from him, he dictated what they did offensively. The other guys just couldn't match his level of impact and make plays to get these guys off the field. That's been their biggest issue in this game.
It's important to remember, too, how poorly they started. I mean, they were down 14-0 before they even had a chance. I mean, in some ways, the game plan has to change a little bit, especially defensively when your opponent is already working with that head start.
And you only have to win 2 out of 3 aspects of a game, and they've won special teams, and they've won offense because of their running game.
Lobby trying to get outside.
Good to see these guys out there for good counsel, even though they're down 31-7, just to go out there and compete still, and not hang their heads in a lot. That's when you see a team give up big plays. They're competing hard out there. That tells you this is a well-coached football team.
And all the championships they have, I think they understand that, all right, they lost this game, but there's still a bigger prize out there for them. These are competitive players. Another tackle for loss.
And listen, I'll be at that Maryland game, that Michigan State game later on this evening, and you see a lot of these Maryland commits, and you talk about a Terps team that's building in the right direction, keeping good in-state talent at home. That's going to help them jump back to where they need to be in the Big Ten.
You guys had both talked about how good the WCAC is in football. We've seen it in basketball also. I mean, it's a gold mine for the local schools here. So the more that those schools can recruit from this area, but even specifically this conference, the better off they're going to be at the next level.
Well, they tell you put a fence around your home state. In this situation, you put a fence around the district.
Yep.
And you should be able to pull a lot of good talent. Which
That's right.
Maryland is going to jump up pretty quickly if they're able to nab a lot of these guys from this conference.
That's right. There's so much talent, like you said, in basketball as well. I think it's even more of a discrepancy compared to some other areas in the region. It doesn't get any better than WCAC in basketball, and football is certainly similar as well.
But they're trekking in the right direction. I know we talked about it off air pregame, but a college teammate of mine actually played at Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And all he talked about was football here in this conference. And we were just like, man, what are you talking about, man? There's no way possible Mid-Atlantic football, high school football would be better than the South football, but you're getting a good up-close representation of that here with this conference and with these two teams.
Well, that worked
Punt
out.
takes a really nice bounce. Wow. This is going all the way down inside the 5-yard line. His teammate didn't even have to down it. The punter just took care of everything else. I'll just stop the ball right on the 3-yard line.
That's going to help out that average. You know, he's going to point to, man, I'm averaging 75 yards a punt, man.
Just a massive 75-yard punt that landed about 15 yards in front of him.
Right.
So just everything going the Eagles' way today. You talked about Senior Day. They also have their Hall of Fame induction coming up later today. The current athletic director, Joe Rada, going into the Hall of Fame. Take another look at this punt. It was a good punt, but certainly you can't control the way it rolls like that. Just every bounce going for the Eagles today.
And Marshall couldn't even believe it. He had to double check to make sure. He was like, oh, is keep rolling, keep rolling. Which just, ties to the point again. They play winning special teams. You know.
This was a clinic in special teams today for Gonzaga. First down picked up there for the Falcons.
Looks like we have a quarterback change.
The 16, Cameron Snell, is out there now. A sophomore, so give him a few reps.
In a big game, And you see he's already the more mobile of the two quarterbacks, which adds you another dimension, something that they lost when they lost Abraham.
Play action to Mekhi Smith. The quarterback's going to keep it himself. Snell picks up a couple more.
Making him make decisions there with the read option.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to do, especially when you're under fire there as a sophomore coming in. But it's exactly the kind of thing you want. You don't want him to just hand the ball off every play. Let's actually make him work for it. Let's see what he's about.
We talked about Bob Malloy. This game is a lost cause, but you can still build. You can still look forward. You're going to have the playoffs, and even with a sophomore out there, looking forward to next season or down the road.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to. That's the one thing you can't simulate in practice is live action.
Yep.
So got to get these guys some live game reps.
Mekhi Smith. Third down. Let's see if they let the new quarterback air it out here on third.
And I like how Gonzaga is also rotating in some younger guys, getting those guys some reps. You have to. That's the part of a team that you like. Guys are happy for the next guy getting in and getting some playing time.
It is Senior Day, so some of the guys that maybe not are out on the field all the time for Gonzaga getting a chance in their could be their last home game. Rolling out, and the southpaw throws it out. It is complete. Josh Kelly. Did not get enough for the first, though.
Fourth and about 2 in this situation, a short 2.
Sam Sweeney warming up there on the sideline for Gonzaga, so he may be out there for the last drive.
Good situational football right here for the sophomore quarterback. See if he can continue this drive and build some positivity going into next week.
And next week they get a little bit of a reprieve, coming back home. Good Counsel does, playing against St. Mary's Riken. That's a little appetizer before they play DeMatha in the final game of the regular season. That'll be a little bit more of a challenge for them.
Yeah, Riken, McNamara, and Carroll at the bottom of the WCAC this year. Gonzaga already played Riken. They beat them 38-6. Just to give you, it doesn't always indicate exactly how it's going to be, but just sort of an idea. When you play St. John's and when you play DeMatha and when you play Gonzaga and Good Counsel, it is a little bit of a break to see St. Mary Rikens out there. So that Gonzaga game is going to be their second conference loss. And as for Gonzaga, another game where they have not one of the top teams traveling up North Capitol Street to take on Carroll. And then, of course, the big game, taking on St. John's. That is going to have huge implications for who finishes in second and gets that home playoff game. Plus, anytime Gonzaga and St. John's step out there, there's huge implications.
That'll be a huge game. Two of the most talented teams in this area for sure. More D1 recruits on that field than basically any other matchup you can think of.
17 is Sam Sweeney out there running the show for the Eagles. Gonzaga with that big lead in the final 2 minutes and 20 seconds coming up.
He's got a flag down. Personal foul against Gonzaga. There's that win cut through. Here's the thing. We hadn't had this win all game, which has been great. But, it's been a well-contested game, clean game for the most part, and just glad to see guys get out there and compete well and coaches working through their depth and getting guys some reps,
We saw glimpses, I think, Nick, of this Good Counsel offense when they were sort of rolling. But even still, it seemed like Gonzaga managed to come up with a big play defensively. Certainly the play where Ibrahim got injured, that's not the play I'm talking about. But every time they needed a big stop, they came up with it in this game.
That's right. We saw a lot of some really promising drives by Good Counsel using Mo Ibrahim to work the ball downfield. They just couldn't quite capitalize. There's been too many turnovers, too many special teams errors. But you're right. There have been some flashes from Good Counsel showing that this is a very complete football team. Now the only question is, when is Mo coming back? Is he coming back?
Yeah.
Is he going to be healthy going into the postseason?
That is something that will certainly destroy a season for a team like this, to be out your main man. So obviously everybody wishing him a speedy recovery and hoping for the best. It did not look good the way he managed to just gingerly make his way off the field. Jacobs Oliver getting the carry. He is a sophomore. On the previous play, it was Boakai, who is a senior, and got an opportunity to carry here.
And Aaron Jarvie making a stop, a senior linebacker, 5'9", 190. 5'9" is a little bit generous out there. It's probably like good 5'6" and a half. But he made a play right there. Good to see the senior getting out there, getting some reps and making a tackle. These are the memories that these guys will carry for a lifetime. You can't replicate high school football anywhere else.
Play clock is down to 2 before they snap it. Sweeney rolling out. Gets hit. Gonzaga will turn it over on downs. Gonzaga fans enjoying themselves as they should be. It's senior day, it's Hall of Fame day, parents weekend, and what I think has to be said is a convincing win against a very good opponent.
Absolutely. I mean, Gonzaga really threw everything they had at this Good Counsel football team. You had that sense yesterday talking to the guys. They were disappointed by that performance against DeMatha. They really wanted to come out strong and finish today, especially on their home field on senior day. That's exactly what they've done. They've been on their P's and Q's on all three phases of the game here, special teams, offense, and defense. Everything's gone the Eagles' way today.
Completion out to the near side for Trey Cornegay. He got clocked as he caught it. It's a different quarterback in there now. It's Quentin Williams for Good Counsel, so another switch. Williams, another sophomore, yeah.
Taller guy out there making some plays, getting to throw the football downfield.
Seeing a little tryout for next year, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. The position battle right there going on.
You got him. Pretty eeasy to see the different styles. Nice rollout, and he zipped that pass out there. Meanwhile, the other guy was running the option and had a couple good carries.
Jason Campbell, like, since we're in the D.C. area, you want to throw that out there right
Oh, wow. Is that the number 2? 17?
17.
Yeah.
Well, that's the final play. Gonzaga wins it 31-7 in the game that ended with not much of a flurry. It was a very convincing performance by Gonzaga, doing everything they needed to come up with an important conference win and move for a tie into second place in the WCAC. We're going to take a quick break here, and we will come back and wrap it all up for you with the highlights and some post-game commentary. So keep it right here. You are watching WCAC football on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at OleMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting, interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob, and you got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at OleMetSports.com. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Wrapping things up here on Buchanan Field on I Street. Number 7, Gonzaga, with an impressive 31-7 victory over the Good Counsel Falcons. They came in ranked number 11th in the city, and they are going to be falling after that. But in some ways, the big news is the injury to their main man, Muhammad Ibrahim. We'll have to wait and see what the damage is for him. At this point, let's go downstairs to Bob Trossett. Bob.
Coach, what's a win like this mean to you and your seniors today?
It's a great win. You know, first of all, Good Counsel's an excellent program. You know, always, you know, fantastic athletes, well coached. You know, so we respect, you know, them and what they do. So getting a win against a quality team like that is great. You know, for our seniors, it's their last home football game. So we wanted to make sure that we gave them a great memory today. And fortunately, we played well, and it was a good day for us.
Talk to your stud running back next. What do you say to him as he heads off in the next 4 games?
Well, you know, number 2 has been a phenomenal player for us the last 3 years. And, you know, he did it again today. And, you know, just week in and week out, it's just amazing what he does. He's a tremendous, tremendous football player and an even better young man.
Well, enjoy. I'm gonna go speak with him right now. Tyree, man, congratulations. How you feeling right now?
I'm good. I'm glad we got the win for my senior day. It feels great. My last time playing against Gonzaga, and it's special to go out this way.
I saw you on Twitter just a few days ago. You realized that it's coming down the wire. You got 4 games left now. What's it mean like to go out on a high note like this?
Like I said, it feels great. You know, I just gotta really absorb all of it and take it in. You know, it's so quick these last 4 years. So you know, I'm just really trying to absorb it and make the best of it.
So much of the spotlight going into today was on your counterpart, Muhammad Ibrahim. Talk about his game a little bit and how you went into this preparation-wise to go up and compete against a back like that.
Yeah, great friend. You know, me and Muhammad, good friends. So, you know, a great back also. And he's the leader for his team, like I'm the leader for my team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So, you know, as a defense, we really wanted to limit him, and we was able to do that today. And, you know, prayers go out to him as he hurt his hand. So, you know, prayers go out to him.
Heck of a game by you and the squad. Best of luck down the stretch in the WCAC.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Tony Lamarzi here, along with Emory Hunt and Nick Eilerson. And one thing I like Coach Shriver said, he said, we wanted to make a memory today. So it's not just about winning this game or the standings or the stats. It was just about the experience of this game, and they made the most of it today.
Absolutely. You see the seniors out here. You see their families. You see the energy from both teams. And I thought this was just a great day to showcase what high school football is all about.
And Nick, I mean, you work for the Washington Post. The big story here is not just going to be the win, it's going to be the potential severe injury to Good Counsel's key player, Muhammad Ibrahim.
Right, you got to hope for the best for a guy like Mo Ibrahim. What a great player. He's very tough. You know he's going to endure this, but will he come back in time for the postseason? Got to learn about the extent of the injury. But I like what Tyrese said there. In the post-game interview. He's a guy who's not really worried about his own individual stats after approaching 2,000 yards last year, being the area's leading rusher. He's more concerned, like his teammates, with winning that WCAC championship, first time since 2002.
Let's take a look back at how it went down today. That was the first touchdown of the game scored by Gonzaga's Dean Ingram, and then the big mistake on the that's going to be a mistake that everyone's going to remember for a long time.
Right, that was the first of 3 special teams mistakes right there. This led to a touchdown run where he froze the linebacker in the hole for a touchdown.
Then that second quarter, Good Counsel's offense started to get going a little bit. They bring in their key defensive lineman into the offense sometimes. He made a big catch there, setting up their first touchdown.
Yeah, Josh Pascal got involved a lot on offense. He was basically their leading receiver today. It looked like plenty of catches, plenty of opportunities.
And this is Ibrahim punching it in from a short distance, so it was just 14-7 at that point. And a good response to close out the first half by Gonzaga.
That was a big knockout blow right there by the tailback, running downhill and getting outside and ultimately finding his way into the end zone with a nice touchdown run right there.
So they led 20-7 at halftime, and in the third quarter, the defense made a big stop on Good Counsel's first drive, and then they took advantage with some points.
Yeah, you thought Good Counsel was coming out strong there with that first drive. They were moving the ball well the first few plays, but then that turnover really killed them, and it was just all an uphill battle from there.
That was the big turnover. That was also the play where he got injured. So everything going wrong at that point for Good Counsel.
And this was the second special teams blunder right here. Good effort on the punt return, but you got to protect the football. You put it on the ground and put Gonzaga back in business.
So it was a real combination today for Good Counsel. Things going wrong. It was a great start by Gonzaga. And then the last touchdown on the big play being set up. And it's the receiver who we said up to that point we hadn't seen much from, but Max Fisher doing what he does.
Don't sleep on Max Fisher.
Yeah.
He'll beat you. He will burn you once or twice a game. He's good for those kind of big breakout plays, and there it is again.
All right, I want to give a special thanks to our crew here on DMVstream.com, bringing you this game on the Washington Post Sports Facebook page. Glad you could be a part of it. It was a memorable game and a big-time game in the WCAC, and also for the big rankings here in the city. Gonzaga is going to be moving up and hopefully get into that top 5 where they were a few weeks ago. So that's going to do it for our broadcast. For my colleagues, Bob Trossett, Nick Eilerson, and Emory Hunt, this is Tony Lamarzi saying good night from Gonzaga. The Eagles prevail 31-7. Good night, everybody.